Hi, and welcome to Thursday with the Friend. My name is Lawrence, Punk, Larry, whatever it is. Whatever you want to call me, you know.
Damn it, Larry.
Exactly. And my guest today, you guys know him. He's been gone for a little while. He's been showing up on Oz's, but for the most part, this is his reintroduction. Aaron Payne, how are you doing?
Um, Breathing. I got breathing. I got breathing down. Rest of it, we'll see. Remains to be seen.
You woke up on this side of the dirt,
Sure.
so
So it can't be a bad day.
I mean it can be, but we're
Well,
hoping it's not.
it is what it is.
So how have you been?
Uh, okay. I mean, that's. I'm making it. I'm glad I'm getting back to the gym. I definitely forgot how much I missed it.
Yeah, I haven't missed it at all, and I got to get back in.
So yeah, it's nice to be back where I found myself as a teenager.
Well, you know that I do understand. Like I said, I got back into skateboarding, and it never left me. But I wasn't doing it. But once you get back into it, um, there is that special feeling.
Yeah, aside from my joints feeling like trash, but other than that, I'm fine.
And that does,
I can tell I'm not 20 anymore. Definitely, my joints are telling me like, yeah, let's not do that much weight.
and that doesn't get better. Um,
I have no doubt that I'm probably going to be really really sore tomorrow because I can already feel it in my low back. Yeah,
I mean, I will say this: as we've gotten older, um, you high reps.
yeah. Well, that's what I'm
Um,
doing. I'm
I
doing I'm doing big sets, so 2 or 3 exercises, 10 to 12 reps a piece, doing quick rotations because I'm getting in and out in 30 minutes.
Yeah. I came to the point that I started doing a lot of 50s. And what that is, it's like your goal is to hit, you're going to do 50 curls, right?
Yeah,
It doesn't matter if it takes one set to hit 50 or it takes 50 sets to hit 50.
yeah,
Your goal is to get to it with as little rest as possible. It really gets your wind up, gets that
yeah,
cardio going, and you're actually getting an actual workout in because you're using not super lightweight, you're using fairly decent weight.
yeah. There was a point in time in my life where I was going to be a competitive bodybuilder, if you can believe that.
Oh, steroids
Back
would.
back when I had size and I had other things before I got married and I had 3 kids and life
Well,
came.
that takes a toll on you. But hey, you know what? We've all been there. Uh, a lot of times when I hear people talk about how, if I have time to do it, well, I have kids I'm coming home to. I'm working a full time job. I do have other things going on. Yes, technically, could I make time for it? But sometimes ice cream just tastes so much better than working out.
Sometimes it's just easier to give in to the temptation.
Yes, there's excuses and there's reasons. I don't ever give an excuse why I don't work out as much. There's just reasons, and the reason is ice cream.
There you go.
A lot of
Whatever works, man.
content creating.
Whatever works.
Anyway, let's add to the chat really quick. We got a lot of faces here, but not a lot of the regulars, which is kind of odd. We have My Buddy's Customs here, Realm of Toys. We got Derek Holloman, Frostbites, G.I. Joe Repro, all the way from Australia. Wraith Mace is in the house, B-Boy Unlimited.
I
We
don't know
have
what 3-day
Joe.
weekend he's thinking of because I don't know too many people to get a 3-day weekend for Easter.
I took tomorrow off.
Well, aren't you special?
Well, I'll explain that in a second. Spaded one McDysentery. Yes, I got it right.
There you go. You got it right finally.
I was saying it. I was saying it in my head while I was doing cleaning up the dishes. Hyperdelic is in the house. I will be on his show. It's already been recorded this Sunday.
Nice.
So once there's a better link, I will promote it. And then Tony's Figs is here to support two
Tony.
fantastic friends of mine. Yeah, Tony's gonna feel different after Joe Fest. He's like, "You are such an a-hole." Um, I have to watch what I guess I have to.
He will get Lawrence 24/7 for 3 days, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I have to kind of watch what I say because I don't need YouTube coming after me and turning things to 18 over for saying,
Again, yeah.
yeah, I still can't figure that out.
It's not like your show was anything different than anything else, but whatever.
No, it was the description. And
Marty McModerator probably.
yeah, and when people, people ask like, what's the big, someone did ask like, what's the big deal? Your show isn't for 18 and under. It's like it's not a big deal except for now you get pigeonholed, or you could get pigeonholed where now they're looking. And since I don't even know what I said, that's the biggest thing. It's like that the timestamp they said to go to. I'm like,
Yeah, it's not there. I was like,
pre-order.
okay.
Wait, we can't say pre-order. We can't use the initials of pre-order anymore. I don't understand. I don't understand that. So, but this is not about me. This is about you. If people want to know about me, they can tune in Monday. I don't know who the hell still wants to know about me. I feel like I've given it everything. Like you guys all
you got
know.
4,000 people that are actually,
Well,
spending their time. Now, whether they're all spending their time or not is debate.
I don't think they're all spending their time, but I'm not gonna lie. I can see the numbers. We hit 10,000 on that Duke review.
Nice.
Shocking enough. Ooh, sorry, Sheldon. This is my old little doggy. Look at that.
Oh, the babies.
This was my dog that we had when my ex and I split up, and they went out of town for a day or two, and then of course my ex comes back, and now she's just so sick. So
Yeah.
I just keep the dog. I'll just keep the dog for a couple of days. Don't worry about it. So they get along for the most part. They just don't talk. Although someone did growl at one of them, and let's just say it wasn't the little one growling at the big one. All right.
There's a little jealousy right now.
Yeah. He wasn't even doing anything. He was just sitting there.
Yeah, that's all it is. Just jealousy. It's like, wait, you're getting all the attention. I'm not getting attention. This sucks.
Yeah, I think he was in his area. Anyway, so let's get into you because that's what everyone tuned into. They tuned in to find about Aaron's.
Well, I hope everybody's ready for a somewhat yawn fest, but okay, we'll go with it.
Listen, you've been doing your show for months now. How long were you doing it for? A year?
Started it in May, so yeah, almost a year. 11 months.
Okay. And you had steady people coming through there, so.
Yeah, I did. I know I appreciate the support that people spent their Friday evenings with me. Although it will be when I come back Wednesday evenings, because but I won't go over the Toy Kind of Mood, folks. So it'll probably be like 7 to.
Don't worry about
7 my time to 9 my
time. B-Boy is.
I don't take the spotlight away from Tony.
It's not his show.
Yeah, well,
he's just pigeonholing.
I tune in for Tony.
B-Boy asks right away, what is your favorite toy line to collect?
Currently, it is classified. Period. Full stop. Second one is Cosmic Legions, and then Mythic Legions behind that, and then fourth would be AWOC. But funds being what they are, Joe is probably going to be the only one I'll be getting because I'll probably be picking up one figure a month at least for the next couple months.
It's kind of funny because when I was on Hyperdelic, he asked me about what lines I collect. He's like, obviously classified. What other lines? And I'm like, like I'm looking around and see all these, but it's like there's only one line that I can really say I'm all into. I completely forgot about gargoyles because they're all downstairs and they haven't released one in like 6 months. And I was like, G.I. Joe, like.
Well, I mean, I have gargoyles. I have the base gargoyles. I have all the main characters.
Yeah.
I don't have Xanatos because didn't appeal to me, and I don't have Mazda. But I've got the basic gargoyles, through Broadway.
Yeah, and
or not Broadway. Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. All right. So, do you mind me asking how old you are?
I am 49. I will be 50 in June.
Okay. So, a little bit older than us. I guess I forgot to ask because most people kind of realize, where does your YouTube name come from?
Payne was my nickname. Now, it was intended to be an insult in elementary, middle school, and high school. But as I got older, it became a nickname that I just took for myself and made sure that it couldn't be used against me. And then when I was in the police academy, we had to tell our AKAs, and there was a 2-on-1 drill one day, and I split my eyebrow open. So I'm bleeding down my face, bleeding down my shirt, and I just walk over. They're like, you need to go to the hospital and get stitches. I said, no, you got some damn super glue. Walked over, super glued it, dried it, walked back, started doing it again. I was just like, I don't. And then, of course, one of the guys, his name was Trevor, he was standing behind me and goes, I guess you ain't got time to bleed, huh? I said, no, don't got time to bleed.
So it basically just rolls because that is your last name, correct?
Yes.
I don't want to give much away, but I don't think I'm
You know what? My name's on my Instagram. My name's on
yeah,
my
I don't
Facebook. My name's technically on my TikTok, but my picture's not there because I started it and just like, I don't know if I want to deal with another social media thing. Because honestly, for a long time, I had stopped social media completely because it was literally just infuriating the shit out of me.
well, that's what it's made there. I think that's what it's there for these days.
There comes a point where I can only handle so much stupidity in a day. And Facebook at that time I had way too many things that were just making me rage. So it's just like, you know what? I shut it down. Oh, I actually deleted the account, took all the data. So every post I've ever made, everything that I've ever reacted to, I have that on my computer still. But yeah, I deleted it for several years. And then when I started getting into toys, I started in January of 2022 getting back into toys. It had been probably 23 years since I had collected last, 1999. I'd collected comics from about 2004 to 2008 and then kind of shifted off that and went to digital platforms because just comics are a massive space eater too. So,
that they are.
I have to decide what I wanted to do, but and then I didn't collect anything probably from 2008 till 2022. So that was a 14-year gap of not collecting anything. And then I just started collecting in January 22. I found Classified, and within a month, I had all of the existing Classified that had been released. I paid a little too much for my Zartan and a little too much for my Royal Cobra Commander, a little too much for my 2 Cobra Commander Supreme Snakes, which that was a whole debacle because I had done a bidding on one and then I just went ahead and did a buy it now. And the funny thing is that the buy it now was more expensive than the bid one by the time it was done. But it's like, forget it. You know what? I'll just buy it and be done. So I ended up with 2 of those. I ended up buying that Zartan at a huge markup on eBay. And then literally 3 weeks later, the damn thing shows up on Pulse for retail.
Yeah.
So needless to say, that was my foray. And then, of course, the 00 Snake Eyes paid out the ass for.
Well, we'll get into that. Let's start from where we try and start from here with the show is from your childhood. Where are you from exactly?
I was born in Colorado. When my parents divorced at 4, we stayed in Colorado for about 3 years. And then because of my father's abuse, we moved to Oklahoma to get away. And I was 7 when we moved here, and I've been here ever since.
So it's safe to say you would consider yourself more of an Oklahoma.
No. Don't put me in with dumb Fuckistan.
Well, I mean, is Denver that much better?
I'm just saying, there's a reason why I call it that. You have to meet folks. I mean, there's some good folks here, but let's be honest.
There's good folks everywhere. I mean, we've actually found there are some good folks in Ohio, and that is hard for me to say. I mean, there's nothing good in Ohio other than that.
And of course, Kenny is like, Colorado is God's country, but yes, Colorado is beautiful. I love Colorado, but you know what? I couldn't afford to live there if I tried.
Yeah,
My brother lives out there. My brother owns a glass company, and he does about a couple million a year installing glass at businesses. So he's got plenty of money where that's concerned. So he took over my dad's business. Yeah. For some reason, my brother didn't get enough punishment from the time that he was a small child to the time that he was 6, and decided at 18 to go work for my dad.
Some people are gluttons for punishment.
I just, it explains a lot about him in some ways. So, it's one of those things. It was our dad was, an alcoholic and a cocaine addict, which I did not find out about the cocaine until I was an adult. But it kind of explains the Jekyll and Hyde.
So at this moment, Carol became my favorite watcher of the show. I agree with Lawrence on the Ohio thing.
It's your favorite guys. That's what you should say.
So growing up, you have one sibling, correct?
Yeah, I have one full sibling. My half sister was born probably, I want to say it was 9 or 10.
Okay, so you kind of had a built-in friend, no matter what, to play with toys.
Yeah, no. Well, no, hell no. My brother didn't play toys. That was the hilarious part. My brother was the active outside, went to play soccer, went to go do sports. He was not.
Is he older or younger than you?
He's 2 years older than I am.
Okay.
We're 2 years and 5 days apart.
All right. So
yeah, he had a brief period in dalliance with toys. Probably he really stopped officially playing with toys probably in '83.
Wow.
And that was about, he was more
one of those kids that didn't. I mean, I had
he wanted to go play soccer, wanted to go hang out with his friends, wanted to do all that. He's the sociable of the group. Of course, I'm the autistic of the group, but we didn't know that at the time because nobody really diagnosed autism in 1980.
Yeah.
I always knew I was the weirdo. I didn't know why I was the weirdo for a long time. So, he was the social kid. So he went out and, it also explains why I have absolutely no coordination whatsoever. It's awful. I would trip over my own feet if I could. But he played sports. So all the toys that he would get, I got. So
they just went to you.
My dad, when we moved down here that first Christmas, he shipped this, box that was bigger than me. It had everything that Masters of the Universe released in the first year, and most of G.I. Joe the first year. So we had Straight Armed, Rock and Roll was one of the first figures that we got. I can remember playing with that. He did a few toys in '83, like Torpedo and a couple of the other ones. I don't know what year Torpedo was, '83, '84. But for the most part, he wasn't really a creative toy player. Sorry.
So basically, you're stuck by yourself then, even though you haven't.
Pretty much. I was, again, I was the weird kid. I didn't really make friends very well. I struggled with social interactions. You add in the trauma from abuse, and
you were born in what?
Lonely child.
Were you born in 73?
74.
74. Okay. So so he's born in 83. I'm sorry.
76.
He's born in 72. So at 83, he's 11 years old anyway, and that's where a lot of kids.
Yeah. So it was kind of one of those things where he was just, it never really. I can remember playing. We had one massive snowfall when we were kids up in Colorado, and I can remember him and me taking the Star Wars toys outside to play in the snow. But
it sounds like so much fun right now.
That was, one of the good memories of my childhood that I can remember pretty strongly, because it was really, it was like it was at least 6 feet drifts. So, you could make nice little, caves and crawl through it, and it was a fun time. We had a good time till we froze it. Then,
as much as I think the Star Wars figures today, when you look at them, the 5 POA, they're just so boring. But man, if you close your eyes, At least for me, if I close my eyes and think about the times that I had playing with my cousin, or going other places, or watching the commercials with the Dagobah, and I never had the tauntaun with the open belly. I thought that was like the coolest thing.
Coolest
So
thing for me,
gross, so gross.
I
When
wanted that. I wanted the AT-AT. That was like my
yeah,
holy grail as a kid.
the Ed
Of
commercial.
course, I got it when it became Power of the Force. That was, that was like this was like a mandatory thing because I had adult money.
I actually didn't buy that with the Power of the Force for some reason.
I bought all the vehicles, I had all the figures, and I literally sold all that in collection, including my vintage Star Wars, which I had really nice, a really nice collection. I mean, I had most of 77. I had a couple of the 12-inch figures as well. Pretty good, mint condition, pretty much. They had their boxes, they had the inserts. So I was that kid that did that with my stuff. I did the same thing with my Joes. For the longest time, I would put the boxes flat and I would keep them in my closet or keep them under my bed. And what I found out later was my mom would go through and throw it out when I went out to my dad's.
You know, I was just talking to someone about that. I was just talking to somebody about because he just someone had sent him over. Hey, did you want these? And it was a tomahawk. I forget what other things it was. What other things there were. And he's like, I didn't expect him to have the box when he said he had it. And I'm like, you know what? I guarantee you, after I took off the file card and the flag point, that thing was gone.
Yeah.
I don't remember ever being like, oh, we need to keep the box. Even though I
Yeah.
kept everything in wonderful shape, like I tried playing with my toys properly, that stuff was gone. Like I didn't care. That's right in the trash. We're done, and I'm to playing with the toy. Dad put the stickers on, and now
I had all the card backs and complete card backs. I didn't cut off the file card. They all were complete.
No, I did
Now
not.
there was a few that were missing flag points because I ordered the hooded Cobra
Yeah.
Commander, and I ordered Sergeant Slaughter, and I ordered the fridge. I had the fridge. I have no idea now as an adult why the hell I wanted the fridge.
That was one I didn't want, and I didn't get.
I didn't even like football, so that made no sense.
I wasn't a football fan either at the time, so it made no sense to me either who he was, other than the commercial where he was this big guy and
Yeah,
like that was it.
yeah.
And then when you see him in real life, you're like, that figure does not look anything like him. He's
No.
a big fat dude. And he was not like muscular and built, all right? He was the fridge because he was so big. So do you remember what like your favorite toys were growing up? Like
It started with Masters of the Universe, having that whole first, 82 wave, got the Castle Grayskull, got all the vehicles, got all the figures that came out that year for that first Christmas. While it was one of those things where I know where they came from, so there were some of those feelings, but that was the first kind of I got to get lost in that fantasy science fiction genre for I think it was about a year, and then Joe kind of took over from there until 85 when Thundercats came out, and then that was an obsession. I ended up getting a significant portion of Thundercats. I kind of phased out, Masters. It was kind of like there was this transition from Masters to Joe, then Joe and Thundercats, and then Silverhawks, and then there was this like progression of those, and then I think I stopped playing with toys because I started working out. Probably I want to say 88, no 87, because I had the last three Joes that I got were Psych Out, Jinx, and Big Boa. I love Psych Out. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody thinks. He's freaking awesome. I'll take the PsyOps guy any day because they're the ones that are gonna screw with everybody.
oh, he's so bad. I'm sorry, he's so bad. I'm sorry. I remember getting that figure from Children's Palace.
It wasn't any cheesier than Crystal Ball. Let's be honest.
Oh, Crystal Ball is just as bad.
So I mean, by 87, I think there was just let's see what happens. Throw it out the wall, it sticks.
I'm so interested to see what they're gonna look like when they do it and classify it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that'll be ones that I'll be like, yep, I'm getting those.
So Kenzo here says, Thundercats was one of my favorite cartoons as a kid.
The light up
I think-
eyes were a cool feature. I mean, yeah, the action features kind of sucked, and some of
Yeah.
the features were just really, really bad.
Crusty Old Crow asks, how does one get qualified on the football field, close combat weapon?
I would imagine it's similar to the old Mesa, evaluation.
Yeah. Well, you know what? What would you fear more? A mace style football coming at you, or someone with a sword?
Let's see.
I
Sword
don't want
can be,
either.
you can shorten the stroke on a sword. That mace has kind of got what's it swung. It's not going anywhere
like,
else right now.
like if they miss you, they're screwed because
Yeah.
like you can't just bring it back, right? It's going. But if they hit you, well, you're pretty much dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
You've
you're
got
not
weight
coming
and
back on
momentum
mace.
coming at you. It's not a good combination.
So as you get out of toys, I feel like we're skipping. Well,
We're not really skipping because I got out of toys. I got into weightlifting. My mom had bought me a small little bench with the leg extension and leg curl, and with those old plastic covered cement weights. And I spent every day.
did you? I never thought about the plastic covered cement weights.
I mean, those things, they got a lot of use. I'm telling you.
But no, but I'm just like it's like it never really dawned on me what those weights were, and now you're saying it, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what you were. They were.
Yeah.
So
I can tell you from experience because I can't tell you how many of those I cracked.
That's awesome.
But no, I fell in love with weightlifting. Literally that summer I put on 25 pounds. What I didn't know is that I have apparently an affinity for building muscle at that age. So I put on 25 pounds, and like all of a sudden everyone was saying, "Oh, he's taking steroids." I'm like, dude, seriously? Come work out with me and you'll see if I'm taking steroids. See if you can hang. I ended up, training a few people in high school.
Well, I think as someone who spent a lot of time lifting and studying it, I don't think kids should actually work out with weight, but that's just my opinion.
It probably stunted my growth a little bit.
I
probably fused the bones because I am the shortest male.
Yeah,
by about 3 inches. It's not massive, but
But it's still like I think there's a lot of things that I truly do believe when it comes to working out, and it's all from my own personal experience and what I've learned, what I've trained.
Now we know why you're short, Larry. I mean, and you became short.
No, I didn't start lifting weights, so I turned 18. So I have no reason. I should probably say I started earlier, but I was a little wiry. I might have been 115 pounds when I graduated, and I would say a lot of that was muscle in my legs from skateboarding.
Yeah, no, I wrestled and I played football in junior high, and then in high school I just wrestled for 1 year. I did drama for 2 years. I went to state my junior year. I didn't win. I was 5th, but And my senior year, I decided, you know what? I'm going to go back and wrestle. That was a fucking disaster. That was one of those mistakes that I look back on my life. You know what? If I had just chosen to go back to drama, I probably would have been all right, because then I would have had time to work out. And I wouldn't be tired and hungry all the time, because my senior year, I had to drop 20 pounds in a week and a half to make weight for 148. And I was just like, that. It killed me.
That's one of those things where, as a kid, you see the wrestlers and you never really thought about it. But as an adult, when you think about it's so unhealthy for people to rapidly lose weight as it is the way fighters do. Yeah. But they're adults and they're making that decision. When you think about that, kids are forced to do that if they want to make weight. It's crazy. And
the thing was I was asked to do it for the team, so I was naturally 168. but we had 3 people at 168.
So you needed,
Equal, comparable skills. But by the time I wrestled that first time at 148, I mean, I was dead. I
that's
had no energy, and I got my ass whipped.
and that's why I love Kurt Angle when he talked about like wrestling. If you ever watch Kurt Angle, any podcast where he actually talks about it, he goes, "I never cut weight because I always felt weak. So I fought bigger guys than I should have for my height, but I always felt weak if I cut weight. So I just chose not to. And clearly, he wanted, you know,
Yeah, one
he,
Olympic gold medal. You can't exactly argue
well,
with this.
well, he won a gold medal with a freaking broken neck. All
Yeah.
right, can't
So,
leave that out. But definitely not something that I think kids should do. I hate. I think there's certain things that I really dislike.
yeah, that's the only thing I did. Wrestling was the only thing I really hated about, because you couldn't really eat very well for a couple days before your match, because you had to, you're working out and the room is 90 degrees on a good day, because they make sure to turn off the air conditioner so you sweat. And of course, my mother was a chain smoker. So you can imagine what I smelled like being around chain smoke all day.
Yeah.
Not a good smell. Not a good smell, kids. It's in everything. It's in your clothes. It's in your pores. It's in your hair.
My
Don't
mom,
smoke around your kids.
my mom was a smoker, and she passed away when I was 13. My dad hated smoking. Probably the only thing about my mom my dad hated, right? So obviously after she passed away, he thoroughly cleaned the house up, and so you don't realize how yellow everything is. And I remember I had a cousin that used to watch us, and she went and she smoked, and she went in the bathroom and smoked and had the fan on. And when she came out, I'm like, "You were smoking in there?" And she's like, "No, I wasn't." I'm like, "My mom smoked my whole life. I know what smoke smells like, but there's no smoke in this house, so you could smell it that much worse."
Yeah.
It's like you know what it smells like now, and you know that you don't have that in your house anymore.
Oh yeah, no.
So,
My who I work with, he smokes a ton. But he does this thing where he comes back in and he sprays Lysol, and I'm like, dude, all you do is smell like cigarettes and Lysol. Let's be honest there. You don't smell fresh. I'm just saying.
one of my best friends growing up, he was straight edge at the time for the longest time, but everyone in his house smoked, even his little sister,
Hmm.
and he hated it because everyone thought he smoked. Because there was no way for him to be in that house and not
Yeah.
come out
Yeah.
smelling like smoke, and he
I mean,
absolutely hated it.
I can't say that I didn't do tobacco, because I dipped for 20 years.
That is disgusting.
It is what it is.
I think that might even be more disgusting. But hey, you know what?
It started in high school as a way to cut weight,
Really?
because nicotine is an appetite suppressant. So I was doing it in high school to help with that. And then I stopped for a few years. And then, strangely enough, my ex-wife, her brother started dipping and got me back into it because we were working together. I had this recurring theme where I work with him. You're going to be all right. We're going to have to call a doctor. You're going to die. If you keel over during this show, we're going to have a problem.
In the private message, I'll send you my address so you can call 911 for
Yeah,
you need to.
please do. Just in case.
Wait a minute, there's more than enough people on here that have my address. So.
Yeah, Matthew should have it right, so it'll be all right.
Oh,
Matthew will
God.
call it for you. But yeah, no, did that for a few years, and then I got back into it during that. I didn't do it while I was in the police academy. This was after the police academy, and this probably was, I don't know, it was 2000, and then I dipped for till 2020 when I got my high blood pressure diagnosis. And when that happened, it was like, yep, can't do it no more.
What's high blood pressure? Who would have high blood pressure?
I had never had issues before. Nothing hurt, nothing, I hadn't. But when we moved, I guess something in the move started affecting me physically, because it was me and my daughter doing the move, because my ex-wife at the time, she broke her foot, or actually she broke her toes, dealing with my son. and we ended up doing a lot of the moving to me and her together. And I guess because after that, I started getting numbness in my hands. I started, getting dizzy, and I was just like, what the hell's wrong with me? So I finally went to the doctor. And I'm stubborn about doctors. I'm not a huge fan. But I went to the doctor, and she's like, well, you have high blood pressure. I was like, shit. So I was like, it wasn't too long after that I stopped dipping. But yeah, it was, and I don't miss it. I don't miss the spit bottles and the waste of money that it was.
Yeah, that's. I mean, you can say toys are a waste of money, but at least we can turn around and sell them.
Yeah, we can at least recoup.
But anyway, let's back it up a little bit. So you got to high school, you wrestle and everything. Obviously, you put the toys away. I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, no. There was no. Well, here's the thing. Not technically. There was closet toy play. If we're going to be honest, all of my toys got put up on display in the attic of the house that we lived at while I was in high school. So my USS flag had my Tomahawk on it, had my X-30 Conquest, had a bunch of Transformers on it, and the other side of the attic had my He-Man in an area, the Thundercats were in an area with Silverhawks. So it was all displayed and it was all set up. So, but it was more of this is there, and I'm not, I just did, so yeah, there was closet toy play during that time because I had a lot of time to myself.
So you
I
had
found
everything,
video games. I started. I played a lot of video games.
but you had everything displayed in your attic.
In the attic, yep.
Like now, I've lived in a condo and I live in a townhouse, so I've never had a big attic. You had more than enough space to actually go up there and.
Put all that stuff up that attic anyway. Not every attic, but that attic for certain.
Okay. Yeah, like any attic that I've ever had, it's been tiny that you can just kind of store a few things inside of it.
Yeah, it wasn't huge, but it was enough space to display all that.
But you had a floor that you could obviously walk on and everything.
Yeah, at least for a little bit. I mean, it was it was probably 10 feet back and 5 feet on each side that you could mess with.
Well, it's still.
It was enough. It was enough to display it. So if I wanted to go up and play with toys, I could. But
yeah,
summers in Oklahoma are conducive to plastic or toys or
anything
in a hot space.
No, probably not in the winter either.
Well, it just depends. It wasn't too bad.
If it's insulated, I guess.
But I was spending more time playing video games at that point anyway, so it didn't really matter. I mean, that my poor Sega Genesis, it was an abused thing.
So you didn't get into comics or anything? I know a lot of people.
I was still collecting X-Men. Uncanny X-Men was pretty much my throughput from probably, I would say somewhere in the 170s.
Okay.
And that lasted through pretty much most of high school, and then during college, about halfway through college, I got back into collecting comics again. When I started, when I moved out of my mom's and her boyfriend's when I was 22, right before I got married to my ex-wife, and it was different, but I started collecting comics because I had a job where I was basically sitting at a desk all day and answering a non-emergency telephone for the Oklahoma City Police Department. And I did that through all of my undergraduate degree and up until the time I became a police officer. So, it paid.
Graph here. I like
that's pretty accurate.
Left side is my 7-year-old self room. Right is my 21-year-old self room.
Yeah, I can see that. It's kind of barren here, but it is what it is. I make do.
I
do have a small shelf full of Cosmic Legions, but For the
And
most
one
part,
class.
I'm trying not to be a clutter bug here since it's not my place.
Hey, you have that one classified. That
I
went
have one
boom.
classified in here. Yeah, he's over here looking at me right now.
He did go tumbling down earlier.
Yeah, no, I think the cat likes to walk behind stuff, so more than likely he bumped it as he was walking over stuff and knocked it down. So yeah,
when you graduated from high school, what did you decide to go do?
I went to college. I took 6 months off, and I was working during that time so I could save up money to pay for college. And of course, um, yeah, yeah, that didn't work. My ex-wife, she liked a lot of things, so it ended up being one of those things. If you didn't buy her something, she wasn't happy. So I ended up spending most of that money, but I ended up getting into college, and I graduated cum laude with my undergraduate degree in psychology. I did a senior thesis, so I did a full study my senior year, um, and then from there I became a police officer. Yeah, that was not a good idea. You want to talk about unpacking some fucking trauma? That did it right there for about a year.
All right, so you go to college. What do you go to college for?
Initially, I wasn't sure, but I started leaning towards psychology really early. Um, One of the things that, because of what happened to me as a child, I kind of tried. I wanted to understand more about what happened. I wanted to just understand more about what makes people be the way they are, what makes people tick. Kind of understand a little bit more about the human experience. And I think psychology was the only thing that really, at the time, this was 92, 93, graduated in 92. So this would have been 93 when I started college. So sometime probably 93, 94 when I started in the psychology program. And it's one of the top 10 in the country in undergraduate degrees for psychology. And I ended up being very successful at college, despite my autism, which was, I think it was more pronounced when I tried to get up and speak than anything else. But, you know, that was way late in the game. That was when 97 when I graduated. I had to defend my thesis in front of the chair of the department and two professors. Nothing like that to give a little pucker to your butthole. So, and once I did that, I made a mistake in thinking that I would make my ex-wife happy, and her family. Her family were cops. Her mom was a forensic chemist at the police department. Her father was a captain. So I applied to be a police officer, got pretty much put on the short list right away because of who I was and who I was attached to. But it was not a good thing for me in the long run. It started off okay, and then it just got progressively worse over the course of that year. My mental health took a serious nosedive. There were several times where I just wanted to end it. So,
So,
um,
so you went to college to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist?
I wanted to be a psychologist, but I wanted to be a researcher.
Okay.
It's my natural gravitation.
But after you graduated, that's when you decided.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I was waffling on graduate school at the
Okay.
time. A lot of it was because I wasn't feeling very confident in my abilities. I rank high in imposter syndrome, so I kind of undervalue what I do. Um, so I kind of doubted myself on whether or not I could actually do the graduate program. So my backup option was police officer because I wanted to make that ex happy because that was what she really wanted. Um, so I kind of swallowed a pill and went through all of the work and did all the stuff and got to the end of that first year and I was a shadow of myself. And I was depressed and angry. And I had a small child. My daughter was 1, getting ready to be 2 when I left the police department. Um, I don't regret leaving. And then I spent 10 years in retail. Then 4 of those years was in retail financial services until 2008 happened and lost my job. Spent 2 years looking for a job.
Can you hold that thought for 1 second? Yeah. So, I'm sorry. So Damon, I'm not sure if you've ever really paid attention to the show or watched it. And this goes for anyone that's tuning in. So this show, we will get to talking about his toys and what he collects, but this is really getting to know the people in the community. So that is the reason why why I go through everyone's life, who they are, like where they came from. That's the reason why we're talking here, because there's a lot of shows that are really good that talk toys, and that's all they talk. But I don't want anyone listen. If you're here just to talk about toys, we're not going to get right into it right away. So, but I know there's a lot of people, and I think the show people have figured it out recently, or in the past few months. But if you're tuning in, like, just so you guys know, that's the reason why we're going through.
We will get to toys at some point. We've gotten to toys periodically in here.
Listen,
so there are toys.
We started early, and I don't work tomorrow, so this may be a 5-hour show for us.
No, it will not. You can enjoy the last couple hours yourself. I will be going to bed because I got to get up at 5.
Whatever, dude. Listen, we all sleep when we die.
Right? I'm an old man. Forget.
Yeah, exactly.
Man. I cannot go without sleep. You don't want to see.
Where's Ed at? Ed, come on, tell him. We all sleep when we die, right? We get all that time. We don't even get to wake up.
You unfortunately don't have a rambunctious, autistic, 14, almost 15-year-old who can make your life hell for an entire day if he wants to, if you're grumpy.
No, I have a non-autistic 17-year-old that can make my life hell.
Yeah, that's how it works. Got a 16-year-old that does the same, but he, you know what? For the most part, thankfully, he's a good kid and he has a big heart. So anyway, I at least did my job.
So how long were you on the police force?
About a year.
About a year, okay.
I left and then I started working in retail, was a retail assistant manager for a couple of years, switched to Kmart, became a loss prevention manager for them for about 2 years. Left them, went to Target, became an assistant manager there, did not like it. We lasted about 3 months. That was fantastic 3 months of my life. That was awful. It was Christmas time, no training. It's like, come on, guys. This is totally different than what I was doing, where I was at. And then left there. Then I started in the retail financial services, did that for almost 5 years. And then 2008 happened and a shitload of that company went down. So I spent 2 years unemployed, trying to look for a job while I was dealing with 2 small children. My oldest boy was 1. My youngest boy was born during that period.
So wait, we skipped. Wait a minute. So you've been married and divorced. We kind of missed that.
Yes, I was married in 98. Okay. Got divorced in 2001.
And you had 1 child with your first wife.
With my ex, which is my daughter.
Yes.
My amazing, special, spectacular daughter, who is shockingly, despite her mother's efforts, not completely fucked up.
Okay. But there's one thing that we're skipping over that.
Okay. What are we skipping?
Skipped over. You had your toys at one point. Your child.
Yeah, no, I had to. Here's the story, and I've told the story multiple times.
I know, but not on my channel.
I know. Most of my toys, with the exception of Joe was the only thing that did not get donated when we moved in with my mom's boyfriend. So all of my Thundercats, all of my Masters of the Universe, all my Silverhawks, all my Transformers, all of that got donated to Goodwill. It was 97, 96, somewhere in there, where my ex-wife and my mother sold my entire collection of G.I. Joe during a garage sale. Even though I had prices on it that were the I don't want to sell it price. But I had gone to work and they said, "Oh, we sold your toys." Oh, great. Thanks. it's one of those moments where you're just like, ah, crap, that's all my stuff. But at the time, I was focused on Power of the Force, so it was kind of like, one tracked mind. Hey, Power of the Force is here. I can get all this stuff. Great.
And how much did that USS flag go for?
Everything went for $75.
$75. Okay.
Everything. That's Tomahawks. That's X30s. That's Armadillos. That's all of my figures from 82 to 87.
Now, I only bring this up because I know people get tired of my USS flag story and the shipwreck story, so I thought we had to have another one. Unfortunately, yours was sunk at the Battle of Midway there.
Yeah.
Mine still floats in the basement.
Yeah, that in retrospect, it probably should have been one of those moments where it's like, yeah, no, I don't want to sell any of this. But at the time, again, I was focused on Power of the Force and what had just come out, and the new hotness was catching on. But that's kind of what we do as collectors. We have those moments where we just shift our focus. So, I was collecting those toys. I was reading comics. I was reading Star Wars books. I mean, I read every pretty much Star Wars book, starting with the Timothy Zahn trilogy, and then all the way up through the New Jedi Order after that. So, yeah, it's a bit of a tragedy, Derek. Yes, it was. I don't think it was one guy that bought it all. I think it was multiple people, but they were so proud of it because it was $75 for the wedding. I was like, okay. At that point, it was just like, oh, what the hell? Now, in retrospect, I should shoot myself, but that's okay.
I would have lost my shit. I'm just saying, like I would have lost it. I can tell you.
I think once I gave up the other toys at 17, I think that's really when I just kind of like lost it. And this was just the last part of my childhood that I was letting go. So at the time, I think maybe in my head, it was just kind of like letting it go.
I know I've never told anyone this. So after my ex and I had split up, everything was in storage. And when we split up, my friend at the time was like, hey, you know what? Just put it in my garage, right? Stop paying for the storage unit, put it in my garage. Put everything in his garage, and then some shit happened between us. And I'm like, I gotta go. Dude. And we were not on talking terms. And I texted him. I'm like, I need to come get my stuff. And he's like, all right, I'll just have the garage open. You can just come get it. Because he didn't want to confront me. He didn't want to talk to me about the shit that went down. And I was like, that's fine. And I pulled up there first thing in the morning after dropping off my kids and got everything. And I'm talking, because I didn't want to come back there. I had my Dodge Journey completely packed. I mean, every inch in that thing, other than my seat where I was driving, because I was like, I don't want to come back. But at the same time, I didn't want that stuff to sit there any longer. It was already a bad enough situation, to say the least. But I was like, I got to get that, or else mine could have gone the same way as yours. Except sold by an old friend, but I don't think he would have even done that. But
you never know. You never know. He might have just done it out of spite. Yeah.
He had no reason to be mad at me. He knew why I was mad.
Yeah.
But this is a guy that has probably, I'm not joking, probably $500,000 worth of Star Wars stuff. He has a museum in his basement. It is crazy. Because when you try and add the stuff up, you're like, let's add this stuff up. Because he started buying stuff before Star Wars got popular.
Yeah.
I'm talking busts and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
But adding it up, you're like, wow, this is
a lot.
Yeah. But anyway, that's something I never told anyone. But mine did not end as tragically as yours. Mine ended up in my basement with lights on it and raised, and there's 5 Sky Strikers on it, and Megatron attacking it. Not to make it... not to make your year any worse, to let you know that I still have mine with Sky Strikers all over.
Yeah. It's all right. You know what? I have plenty of other toys to play with. They're just all in boxes in my daughter's garage, collecting dust. But that's okay. That's okay. It is what it is.
All right, so
Can't get upset about it.
all right, so you get divorced. Obviously, I mean,
Yeah.
the aircraft carrier. I'd be like,
Yeah.
instantly
Four
divorced.
affairs later, it was time to say goodbye.
Wow, for me, it'd be the aircraft carrier.
Yeah. No. It
Like
was.
you cheat on me, that's fine, but you sold the aircraft carrier, we're done.
Yeah. That was enough. The last one learned a lesson. So you would think I would have learned a lesson first three, but no, of course not.
So this right here, and Derek, I want to say this again. I don't like making this about me. I have said to people that want a new USS flag, whether it be in 118 scale as a HAZLab, or when people say that they want a classified one, which is just so unrealistically stupid. And I'll say, like, you've never seen a real, I'm like, you've never seen a flag in person, have you? And people get like all pissy with me. I'm like, I'm not trying to be mean. It's 7.5 feet long, all right? But it's not that it's just long. It's like 3.5 feet wide and I think 3 feet tall.
Yeah, it's ridiculously big.
Yeah, it's not just
You
this.
couldn't. As a kid, I couldn't put it up in my room. There was no way to do that and be able to sleep in there comfortably.
I always found
Unless I put it on my bed, and then
yeah, like I always had room, but like I said, you didn't have much room.
I can't tell you how many of those neck pegs that I broke, taking it apart, putting it back together, taking it apart, putting it back together.
I think I'm only missing 2, and only one is partly broken. I don't know.
Well, luckily nowadays you can get somebody to give you a repro part.
Yeah, but I don't know how mine have survived because it's been taken apart many, many times.
Yeah.
Now, what I don't have is the superstructure, the 2 posts for that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever remember ever having them. So I have a feeling like those were actually like never
Still in
put
the box
on.
when you threw it out.
Yeah, when my dad put it together, it was just boom. But I have the deck railing. I do have that deck railing, which is probably the most expensive piece on it.
The little Y peg in the back.
Yep.
It seems to vanish on everybody's.
I'm
one of those people, even if I got one, I would be fine with repro parts.
So would I.
Don't care. Yeah, it's no one's gonna know but me. It's not like I'm gonna be dishonest if I ever tried to sell it.
I have no problem with repro parts with stuff because I'm collecting it. It's for my collection.
It's for me.
It's
not
for
for
my
anybody
display.
Else.
Yeah. If you try and sell it as complete without telling people, well, then you're just kind of POS. You're probably that same person that swaps figures.
Yeah. There's plenty of those. Yeah. So, yeah. No, and then let's see. So we're up to what, 2001?
So you met a new woman. You get married.
I met my wife that I'm separated from right now in 2003. I was working. God, where was I working at that time? 2003. I guess I was still at Kmart at that point. And then in late 2003 is when I went to Target, and then from there to the Retail Financial Services Company. And within about 4 months, I was promoted district team leader. So, because I turned around a store that had been so unprofitable, they were contemplating closing it. And I turned it into a huge profit store. And it was just one of those things where I was working 60 hours a week, Monday through Saturday, every hour that it was open, getting it in order. And then, I did that for 4 years until the market crashed in 2008, and then 2 years unemployed. And then I took while I was there is when I got my master's degree because I had the time. Apparently, I decided, I needed more work to do for myself. So between 2004 and 2007, I got my master's degree before my son was born, my first son. And then I started my doctoral program in 2007. Did that most of the time. I did my residencies when I was unemployed. So I got those out of the way. And then I was in my dissertation when I took a new job, but I had 2 small children under 3. Well, my son was 3. My oldest boy was 3. My youngest son was about a year old when I started working there. So I was working 40 hours a week doing the dissertation. It burned me out. And I spent a year arguing with reviewers. and revising 150 pages every 3 months. And finally, at the end of that year, I was done. I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I don't have the bandwidth to keep this up. So I left during my dissertation. So that's my unfinished business. But I was going, I wanted to teach. That was always where I felt I fit in. So, but I worked at a psychiatric hospital. I started off as a mental health tech. Within about a year and a half, 2 years, I got promoted to expressive therapist and did that for about a year and a half. And then
What is that?
basically we use art as therapy. So could be writing, could be drawing, could be music, could be anything. We would do that as a therapeutic activity for an hour. We would talk to them about, like I would have them do an activity where they would draw a wall, and that wall is where their imagined barriers in their head to their successful treatment.
Okay.
And I worked with severely abused and neglected children and adolescents. I did some work with the adults, but honestly, the kids were where my heart was because I could empathize with them and understand where they're coming from more than I think a lot of people realized. One of the reasons I was good at it. Burned me out, but and then let's see, probably 2012 or 13. I think he was 3. My youngest son's autism, we got an official kind of diagnosis. He's nonverbal. I actually recorded the video back on my phone of the last time that I can recall hearing him actually say something. It's a video of him singing the SpongeBob SquarePants theme song, but he's just saying "Bob, Bob, Bob, Bob" the whole time. When that kind of happened, I kind of lost my mind. I did things that I'm not proud of at that time, and it's things that hurt people that shouldn't have been hurt. Kind of went through that, and I stayed with the psychiatric hospital. Oh, hello, action soldier. Thank you very much for hitting me. Go over there. I eventually got promoted to program coordinator for children as adolescent acute residential services. Basically, I was the supervisor for a 119 bed hospital. I was actually, before I left, after doing 70-hour work weeks again, and my son, watching him degrade and have difficulties with everything, I had to make a choice between career or my child. And I left the psychiatric hospital. I had gotten some money from my dad's death. It allowed me kind of a little bit of leeway for about a year. And then I started.
So I do have a question. So your son, did you notice anything before this?
Oh yeah, no. He went from having normal milestones to being silent.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Starting to get really aggressive, and he was scripting, and he was, walking on his tiptoes all the time as a baby. We didn't kind of realize it at the time, but it was about, I want to say about 18 months is when it became pronounced, and he became pretty much, he would hiss and he would, make little sounds, but for the most part, he vanished. It was one of the most devastating things, I think, at the time, because you end up mourning the child that you lost. But then you learn to celebrate the child that you get. I wouldn't trade him. He's amazing.
No, and I don't think that
he's loving and sweet when he, most of the time. I would say 99% of the time he's loving and sweet. The other 1% of the time, buckle your belt because it's about to come. So, he's just very strong-willed. I mean, he's 14, getting ready to turn 15 in July. He's just rambunctious. So he is what he is. And I love him. Wouldn't trade him for a bit. And my oldest boy, we had him tested about the same time as my other son, and he's they said he was probable, but as we've gone along, it's pretty obvious that he's autistic like I am. See, there's different levels. It used to be severe, profound, and Asperger's, but the reason they quit using Asperger's is because the man was a fucking Nazi. One of the reasons they stopped using that diagnostic name. So, he's like me. Low support needs, but my youngest, he goes to school for about an hour and a half a day. He struggles when he's given tasks to do, gets aggressive. It can be difficult, and he can be a handful, but being the handful doesn't make him less than. Makes him different, and I wouldn't trade it. The hardest part is being away from him, because for 14 years, every day of his life, I've been there. So right now, during the separation, it's been hard, but at least I have my Fridays and my Saturdays and my Sundays with him. But at that point, I gave up a career and made the right choice. I know in my heart, because I can't trade these years with him. It's not, the amount of career success isn't really worth the sacrifice of him.
You know what? We don't have the same. My ex and I didn't have the same situation, but I know when we first had our son, and then even when my daughter came along, and she had a daughter that I raised. We made the decision that as long as I can afford for to support us, that she would stay home and take care of the kids and and raise them. And my whole thing with that was always, there are people that have to, there are other people that choose to because they want the extra income. I was willing to sacrifice, and so was she, was willing to sacrifice not having everything. But to me, I wanted to hear from her when he said his first words or took his first steps. I didn't want to hear from a daycare telling one of us when we picked him up, oh, he said this, oh, he walked, like I would rather have sacrificed, just like you had said.
Yeah.
I don't look
So
at
I mean, it there's a trade-off with that. Is the significant loss of income.
Yes, and
So
there is.
that was the trade-off for me. But at the end of the day, we get to this point where I'm at, and income isn't quite where it needs to be. But I'll bounce back eventually. It's just a matter of time. And, I at least have had some more time to work on the book that I've been working on for 11 years.
But like I said, I think being able to stay home and see those milestones and work with him rather than having someone else do it just so you could have more financial freedom.
Yeah.
To me, it's worth it. But that's just me. I've never been about what I have, or what I don't have, shall I say.
Yeah.
I always look at everything that I have. Not everyone does. They look at what they don't have, and it's like, you know what? They got a roof over our head, kids are healthy, food's on the table, bills are paid, kind of.
There's not a sacrifice that I won't make for my kids.
No, and that's and you know what? I commend you for it.
I had a shitty childhood. No one should have a shitty childhood as a kid. I mean, you shouldn't have to grow up in a way that damages you for life. And, as an adult, you don't really realize how much that damage is until it bleeds out into everything, and you hurt people that you don't want to hurt, and you make decisions that you don't want to make. So it was, I'm now at 49, getting help. And there's a lot of, for lack of a better word, I have a lot of verbal diarrhea that first day, and it's rough. But, it's a process. It's the beginning of a journey that, I always wanted to help others. So that's kind of always what I do. I mean, it's kind of why, was trying to do all the acts of kindness with everyone. And, I wanted to do more good in the world because I've seen the worst. I worked with it for 6 years. I lived it for, 14, 15 till I stopped going out to visit my dad. I've seen the worst that humanity can do to someone. I have worked with kids who are locked in cages and treated like dogs, whose hips are fused in certain areas, and they'll never walk straight. Their brain will never be straight. They'll never be able to function in society. I've seen it up close and worked with it for months at a time. And it is nothing more heartbreaking than that. But you add in the fact that I was dealing with that and my son's autism at the same time. It was a big, big recipe for me to break down and to burn out fast. And then I was working 70 hours a week doing it, and it was a lot. And it was, they brought in new management, and I was like, I'm not doing this shit again. I'm not trying to prove who I am. Not again. I don't have the bandwidth to put up with this crap too. So I left. I left there and spent about a year focusing on my kids and looking for different avenues. Eventually ended up working with, my mom's boyfriend for the last, 2017 to now. Started off with really piss poor wages, but, they're not great now, but, I'm not living on the streets. So.
No, I think a lot of people don't realize how much stuff people put on their shoulders. And it is okay to break down. It sounds weird. I'm not one to cry, but I don't look down upon people, especially men that do. And I know there's that stigma.
Yeah.
And
I think I've pushed off emotions for so long that I became numb to what I was doing, and it would creep out. Whatever I was feeling would creep out, and it would become this nasty, veritable, just, I wasn't who I should have been. That's as simple as I can put it. I tried, and it's one of those things why when I started my show, why the tagline is, what did you find joy in today? Because I stopped finding joy for so damn long. And I wanted to increase, my appreciation and my gratitude for what I had. And I just, for the longest time, I felt hollow. And it was a struggle to get up every morning. It was a struggle to do anything. And every time that anything would hit me wrong, my go-to was, what am I going to do? I'm going to, commit suicide. And I didn't ask for help, and I didn't get the help. And I said, you know what? I'm smart enough. I can figure this out. But I didn't. That's the hardest thing I've ever done. And it took me till 49 years, almost 50 years old. That's an interesting question. It took me till I was 50 years old to ask for help. It was, it's a strange moment, a surreal moment, honestly. A humbling, really fucking humbling moment. Let's see.
So,
I relate the amount of trauma associated with my family and career. And your adult trials toward the end, towards the amount of energy you put into toys. I think there's a correlation because the toys made me happy. It's also probably why I overspent. You know, um, the toys made me happy. The community made me happy. When I got to do a show and I got to talk with somebody, and I'd get somebody, and then of course we'd have to unpack a shitload of trauma during my show because of course that's I'm good at it, but I'm not good at unpacking my own trauma. That's the hilarious part. I can help others. I'm like the guy who can lead everybody to drink but can't take the drink himself. And
So,
sometimes that's not the best policy.
so I want to kind of add to what Chris the Old Crow had asked. At a different level for me, I know this. When my ex and I split up, we lived together for 11 months. I was telling you this before.
Yeah.
And that's when I got back into skateboarding because we were here together all the whole time. And I messaged my buddy. I'm like, hey, are you still skating on Wednesdays? I normally don't. It's right now. It's busy, but if you're gonna come up, I just wanted to get it out. I thought I'd do it like 6, 7 times maybe. They've turned it once, twice, 3 times a week. I was doing it all the time because it got me away. Right, it got me out of the house. It was worked out when I wouldn't have my kids or my kids would be asleep. And I can say this: what he was saying about, you know, was it joy? Was it revenge? For me, at the beginning, it was everything.
Yeah.
And when she finally moved out,
toys, I can honestly say that toys, for the lack of a better word, saved me.
Yeah, but like when she moved out, I started skating for me again. And there was a friend. She was a roller skater, and she said, "I don't know what it is, but recently you've just become so much better. You seem more focused." And it was like there was no more of this like I'm thinking of other things while I was skating, which is a horrible thing because you get hurt so bad. I now had a clear head, and I could fully see what he's saying there, especially like when you go into toys. Like you go really down a path that you're just collecting stuff like crazy.
Well, it wasn't just the collecting like crazy. It was the community, and the thing is that I needed something. I needed something in my life because I was breaking. And, toys, ever since I was, 4 or 5, maybe even younger than that. I don't really know because I don't remember, but toys have always been there for me. They've always made me feel good. I got to go in my head to wherever I wanted to go with my toys.
It's an escape.
Yeah, as an adult, I get to do creative stuff. I get to do customs. I get to build dioramas. I didn't have any hobbies. It had been years since I had really done anything for myself. And I didn't realize it. And I was depressed and angry. And, it was coming out in ways that it shouldn't have come out. And toys kind of somewhat brought me back to level-headed. It gave me a weekly thing to focus on, to get, look forward to. Having my show, being on other people's shows, talking about things that I was enjoying. The other converse of that is it ramped up my impulsivity. So, in that way, I made mistakes. And now I'm paying for those in some ways. But, it just, I don't know where I would be without finding really literally classified. Or, I can honestly say that at the point when I found it, I was looking for something to enjoy because I hadn't really enjoyed video games for a long time. I would periodically play something, but for the most part, I hadn't been. And I had no hobbies. I had no outlet. It was me and my kids, and that was it.
That is dangerous right there. not
It is.
having an outlet to do something.
I didn't, when you have a kid like my son, there's no free time. There's no, hey, you get to go out and watch a movie. The fucking amount of shit you have to juggle to go see a movie is absurd. I mean, you can't just leave your autistic child who's aggressive with anybody. My mom couldn't watch him because he'd hurt her. Her mom couldn't watch him because he'd hurt her. They're just, it's one of those situations where for the longest time we were both kind of trapped in this place, and it, eventually wears down. It wears you down. And I was to the point, you know, if I didn't find something, I don't know where I'd be, because I'd probably be in the dirt.
No, and I gotta say, like, like for me, it was getting back into skateboarding, but I think it's really the same. The reason why skateboarding is different is because if you're playing with toys, you can't get hurt when your mind's elsewhere.
No, you can fuck up.
But meeting again younger kids, 20 years younger than me, but becoming friends with them the same way that we've created. Listen, the fact that so many of my best friends now through this stupid camera is crazy to think about, right? It's crazy to think about. Like the people that I talk to every single day, some of them I talk on the phone every single day, Tony. Then others, I text.
Throw him under the bus.
Yeah. Well, believe me, I call him as much as he calls me. So it's I mean, believe me, it's not one way. It's not like Tony just calls. I mean,
this community is something I don't take for granted. And, it's one of the reasons I wanted to get back so bad. It's one of the reasons that I got involved heavily with the acts of kindness. It didn't start with me. It started with Motu Origins Cork. But I guess I got nominated. I don't know how to put it any other way, but something about doing something for others and doing it in a way that brings them happiness, joy. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter what you did. It doesn't matter if I gave $5 or if I gave $25. It didn't matter. I didn't care. I wanted to put good into the world, because I know for most of my life, I haven't been putting good into the world. And at some point, the bill comes due.
That is true. And so I've been saying for quite some time to you. I mean, I would say it, and then I reach out to them. I really do mean it. I think you're one of the good people in this community. You have an honest heart.
I try hard, and
I think
that's the thing. I struggle a lot with self-doubt and with whether I'm doing it to make myself feel better or if it's some type of ego boost. I struggle a lot when I do things in that way. It just, honestly, like I said earlier, I rank high in imposter syndrome on testing. A lot of that has to do with just how I feel about myself, and a lot of people don't know, I struggle with depression. I struggle with ADHD. I struggle with my autism. It's not as obvious, but you can see that I do twitchy stuff, and it's, when I'm on a live, most people don't see where my hands are most of the time because it's touching a toy or it's playing with a toy.
Hey. Listen, I already had the 18 and up put on. Let's not do this again.
I touch a toy. I
don't know what you call your toy, all right?
I needed something for me. And again, like I said, toys represented something innocent and something sacred as a child for me. And when I came back to toy collecting, I kind of went apeshit and then stopped doing apeshit and then made some decisions to pay some bills, and you know, then kind of went ape shit again, and then stopped being ape shit. It just I have these moments, and I can tell when my ADHD is ramping up a little bit. That's one of the things that I don't really talk about, and that's you know my brain is what it is at this point.
Um,
So when I want to try to do something for others, I do it not because I truly want to get something from it. I do it because I think it's the right thing to do. And I love doing custom work. Uh, I didn't think I would. I thought I get frustrated with it at times because shit doesn't want to go back together without losing paint. It makes me insane. But the dioramas were kind of an extension of the customs. I mean, it was just stuff that I picked up watching other people, and it says, hey, maybe this looks like fun. And then of course, it took over the house. And by that point was when it became a problem.
and listen, I'm gonna out some people right now. When I say you're truly one of the good guys, listen, myself, I'm gonna out some people right now. Myself, Ed, Tony, Ryan, Matthew, we're a bunch of assholes. Like, we are true assholes. All right. Ed and I do not make jokes about how, hey, listen, I know we're going to hell, but man, all my friends are going to be there. It's gonna be a great fucking time down there. All right. Like, we don't say that because we're like, you know what? We're really good guys. You have like the biggest heart. Like, honestly, God. Again, I'm about to out you. When my car broke down, you sent me, and you're like, hey, what's your PayPal? And I don't expect anything. And I kind of felt weird giving it to you, but I knew you would have hounded me until we're found, and you sent
I would
me.
have figured it out. If you
Yeah,
hadn't given it to me, my next text would have been to Matthew or Ed, and then it's on. So
yeah. And again, no matter what it was if it was $5 or $500, the fact that you took your hard-earned money, and that's what I say about like anytime someone sends a super chat or anything like that, like you're spending your hard-earned money,
yeah,
um, because it's something that you're happy with what I'm doing. But the way you did it was just like, hey, here, this is some spare money that I have that I can help you.
yeah.
Um, for other people in the community, doing toys is one thing, right? Donating toys to someone to make them happy because they're going through something, putting together something because someone needs a hot water tank is completely different. And that's saying, hey,
That started. I didn't know about that. David was the one I think who told everybody, and I was like, okay, we're doing this because this is not okay. This is something, and it wasn't. It didn't. The fact that it was collected so fast speaks volumes for the people in the community. They didn't have to. Nobody has to do any of these.
no,
When
no.
I send people messages, hey, we're doing this, and they'll be like, okay, and then we'll throw them all into a group chat, and then once it's over, once they've gotten whatever they're getting, we send them to the group chat
So
so they can see what we said along the way.
yeah. So listen, Jeremy, I just wonder when you see me in hell, will I have will be the whole you, or will you still be missing parts? Um,
You know what? The way it works, we're all going to hell. What the hell?
and then Fatrid, a member for 1 month. 1 month. Also, Aaron is the champion.
Thank you.
Also, listen, all you Aarons, you guys need to come up with new names because, for the love of
There's
God,
a reason why I go by Payne because
I know.
Aaron is just way too damn common.
I know. It is crazy. I don't know why there's so many Aarons too. Like, and you're
Yeah,
all Aarons.
that's why I go by Payne. It makes everything easier because I'm sure there's some Paynes out there, but I think there's a couple in the toy community, but they
Yeah.
don't really post anything.
So, Mr. Wonderful with a $10 super chat, thank you. Good people are good people. I don't care that you make sick jokes. Your heart is there when it is needed. Hey, Aaron, you're a good dude going through some darkness. You'll come out shining even better, brother. And I agree with that. Like again, most of us have been there. Ed, I know, has been there.
It falls under the category. It's no longer in my control. I gave up control. It took me a while. I was trying to spin it back, and then life happens, and you realize that no matter what you do, no matter what you say, nothing is going to change. The only thing that you can do is make the effort to change yourself. And I have struggled in darkness for most of my life. It's one of the reasons that I may think things, but I try not to say them. I have moments. I may, I've tried to work on being kind, and it's hard, but there's a meaning to it, and there's a purpose with it. And when I originally started thinking about psychology, I got into it to do research, but the ultimate goal of that research was to help others, to help understand this human experience that we have, to help those who are struggling, making it through every day. Um, it was a way to touch their lives and to help them understand. It's the reason I'm writing my book. I mean, my book is almost done. It's not, you know, easy reading, but it's not. There's one section that's autobiographical. The rest of it is actual research-based interventions and knowledge of how trauma affects the brain and how that affects behavior and cognition. Um, it was one of those things that I gestated on for a very long time when I became a trauma informed care trainer. Um, the problem is it's a 3-day course, and the company that I worked for only wanted to pay for 3 hours. So you ever tried to cram 3 days into 3 hours? Good luck with that. Did the best I could with the time. It's verbal de-escalation. I was a trainer for that as well. And that's a day and a half course. Guess what I got? I got 4 hours. 4 hours to teach a day and a half worth of material. So yeah,
So down south says, I don't think we'll see Payne in hell. He's an awesome voice and grounded rod for the community. So sorry, according to down south, you're gonna be stuck up there while you're like, I want to go down there. All my friends are down there, and they're gonna be like,
make no mistake, I ain't a saint. I've done some bad shit in my life. I have done some bad shit in my life. I promise you. Problem might be is heaven don't want me and hell's afraid I'll take over.
I don't know about that with all the people that are gonna be down there.
So, yeah. But no, it's toys, when I came back to it, there was something that felt natural. And it started off with just collecting. And then, I started finding toy videos, started with like Toy Connections and Michael Mercy, people like that. And of course, you fall into the retro blasting and the 3POA crap, and eventually you just get tired of hearing the same shit every week with them. So that one was done.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It was literally probably about 8 months before I was done. But yeah. No, at some point I didn't come to toys and didn't, interact with people to have toxic shit all the time.
You never looked at toys as a kid and said, you know what? I want that because I hate it.
Yeah. This figure doesn't have this accessory or that accessory, and this is $25.99. God, this is awful pricing. You know what? It is what it is. Everything goes up.
Live streams, though. I gotta tell you that.
Yeah, that's great. That's all well and good, but at the end of the day, if the only thing you're selling is that gets old really damn quick. I want to sell hope. Hope endures beyond anything else. joy endures. That's why my show was about somebody's history with their toys and what they mean to them, and how that ties into where they are as an adult and what those touch points are. Because those toys, as much as we want to say they don't define us, they do. You know, we're grown ass adults collecting children's toys. You can argue with the 14 plus crap on it, but the reality is we're collecting what is intentionally made for children. And we do it because we're trying to reattach ourselves to that inner child for whatever reason. You know, it's one of those kind of, after doing this for 11 months, 10 months, doing my show, that's a touch point. Honestly, if I really wanted to, my next book is going to be about this. Why is it going to be about this? Because I've started seeing themes. We should be having fun. Toys are supposed to be fun. Why is it not fun for some people? If you're angry all the time about toys, why are you doing it? I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand that. If that is the only thing that brings you to toys, why are you doing it? That's like, you know, slapping somebody in the face and expecting it to, you know, not do anything to them.
So quickly here, Shark Eyes here with the $2 super chat. Hi from hell, bloody warm here. Wi-Fi is good though.
Yeah, well, he's in that summertime, so.
And a $2 super chat from Wraith Mace. Boom, we are here. It's toys, have fun. I agree. So,
yes.
So a quick, you know.
Look, you can critique things. I don't have an issue with people critiquing it.
No, and you should.
Oh, this isn't. I don't like this, or I don't like that. That's an opinion, and that's based on your personal tastes.
Yeah.
And I don't care what your personal tastes are. They don't affect my tastes, if you know what I mean. I'll watch a review, and then I'll be like, maybe I don't want that. And sometimes I'll watch a review and be like, I probably got to get that.
So what you said about having fun.
Yeah.
I can remember the last time that I threw a fit skateboarding, where I threw my board around, and I remember where I was. I had my Dodge Neon, and I don't remember what age I was. I was probably 19 or 20. And I threw a fit.
Just imagine Lawrence in the Dodge Neon.
I threw a fit. I threw my board around. I was by myself, and I was pissed over something. I don't remember what I couldn't do, right? And I remember I threw my board in my trunk, and I sat in my car, and I went, never again. There was the first realization for me that I'm never going to make money off this. I'm never going to be a pro. Even if I moved to California, I didn't have the skills to be a pro. I mean, I was good, but I wasn't great, you know? And I just remember sitting there going, never again. Like, this is supposed to be fun for me. Yeah. Why am I acting like this and throwing a fit? I can't tell you how many boards I broke when I was pissed. I mean, honestly, it was so many.
I mean, it was like with video games with me. I can't tell you how many damn controllers I smashed on my forehead.
That's another one. That is another one of how many controllers that people have gone through. I'm not saying that I've never.
Things are supposed to make us happy, but they're not supposed to frustrate us. If they're pissing you off, and the only thing that it's doing is making you angry, stop fucking doing it.
Exactly. And I can say that after that point, like it was probably the best that I had skated after that. I mean, you go from this point of being a kid where now I'm a young adult, and it was just like, you know what? I don't need to do this, because the reality is this is supposed to be fun for me.
Yeah.
I'm not making money from these boards. I break a board, I literally have to go and spend money to get another one.
Yeah, and those aren't cheap.
No, not for, especially not as many as I went through. All right, but I worked at a skate shop, so it made it a lot easier. Well, that's a whole other story.
Employee discounts. That's always help.
Believe me, that tab that I had, and when I left, and she was like, "Did you just come back and keep paying on?" let's just say
I'll be in debt to you till I die.
yeah. Well, like, I ended up going back there and working until she went out of business, working on the weekends, so she wouldn't have to when she decided to close the store. So, but that tab was just.
Yeah.
I just take a board and I tell her what I took, and she'd write it down. And out of every check, she would just take so much out. Yeah.
Yeah,
I might have had anger issues back in the day.
Yeah, I think I did it a little bit too. As I've gotten older, my anger issues are still there, but it's not as pronounced. I find myself, my anger leaks out at times, but I try not to. I try not to break things anymore.
This is funny. Thanos captured. When I worked at a game store, we had a guy that went through 2 controllers a week on average. I could just see Thanos like looking like we've all seen Thanos talking. We've all seen how he looks. I could just see his dumbfounded look looking at this guy like, and then as soon as he walks out, and he's like, "What a fucking idiot."
Yeah. It just it's a funny thing when you're and this was probably my teen to early 20 years. I mean, early 20-year-olds. Yeah, I broke a lot of controllers. I mean, I got frustrated. The only thing it did was hurt my pocketbook. Didn't prove the game anything. Didn't prove anybody else anything. It just
you remember the old little Pac-Man arcade game? They had like 2 controllers.
Yeah.
Well, me being very little, I could smash my hand right in between it. To show you how weak I was, it took me years before I finally broke the thing by hitting it so hard. And I remember every now and then I'd miss and I'd actually hit the handle and it hurt my hand so bad. Yet I look back and go, why did that Pac-Man game make me so mad? Yeah. There was no end to it.
No, and it's the thing. It's an insignificant thing to get mad about, but we do. And, it's one of those things. See, Matthew has the right idea, doing the, tournaments with martial arts. You can get out some of that aggression. The gym for me
and that's
was where I got out my aggression.
And that's where a lot of my skateboarding, like you try big old shit. That's when you push yourself. As long as you're focused. When you're not focused, it's just dumb. Like,
just dumb. No, it's backing it badly for you anyway. If I'm not focused at the gym, I might smash my face in the with a dumbbell. But
and that's what's funny is like when you said it gives me time to get back in the gym and everything. And I was like, when I went through the split up with my ex, or anytime I've had something bad, I hate going to the gym because that downtime between sets, your mind is just wandering.
Thankfully, there's no downtime. I just go for 30 minutes.
Yeah, like my mind just would wander. Where like if I'm skateboarding, when I'm skating, I'm usually not thinking about it. And then if I'm with friends or guys I knew, then you're talking to them, so your mind was distracted. If I was by myself, then it.
I mean, I started meditation, so that's helping me a little bit more with where my thoughts go. So I will try to ground myself. Started doing that about 3 weeks ago. I found an app, and it's free for the first year. So why not? What's the worst that can happen? I get a little more relaxed. I learn how to, take my mind off of everything. At the time, I was like, oh, what the hell? What's the worst case scenario? But honestly, it's probably one of the best things I've done. I mean, the therapy's up there, but that's number 2. And as much as it seems weird, it allows me to center. It allows me to focus just on being in the moment, not worry about, what I'm doing later, what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. It's peace for 10 minutes.
So Ed, when do you have time to meditate? Is it before or is it between the reels that you send me that is sending us both to hell? I'm just wondering. Uh,
It's
uh,
it's probably between. You know, he takes a brief moment to meditate. I'm going to hell. Out. Send it. Send it out.
okay, well, this has nothing to do with it. I guess I have to answer this. So Jason Keene says, "Hey Lawrence, I love watching your G.I. Joe videos, and I probably watch all of them or most at the stage because I like your style, but you're very confrontational when replying to comments." Okay, so by the way,
Oh,
all right, so
yeah.
if
Okay.
I was confrontational towards you or someone else, sometimes yes, I am. But
You
okay,
confrontational?
so
No.
there's a couple ways to look at this. As we all know, text doesn't always come out.
No, of course not.
Doesn't come
That's the
out.
worst thing about this modern
Yeah,
technology is that when you text someone, tone and intent are
yeah,
gone. It's only the words.
and sometimes I'm very blunt, but at the same time, and again, this doesn't really matter to you or to whoever I'm responding to. But understand, I may have answered that question 10 to 20 times. And one of the reasons, okay, one of the things,
That's where you go see my previous response on such and
yeah.
such.
So one of the things with comments, all right, I'm gonna see if I can. You guys probably can't see this. Okay, so this here, all right, this here is the Studio app, right? So when you go to the Studio app, at the bottom there's the last three comments. I cannot get rid of those comments till I answer them.
Nope.
So sometimes you'll just see a muscle sign or a heart sign. That's why you'll get a lot of thank yous. Um, I try not to be as confrontational because I understand I do want people to watch the videos.
Well, then
So
some of that is just there's some people out there that again they have nothing else better to do with their time.
JLS Comics, I don't think you're confrontational enough. Bring on the rage. Um,
Rusty old crow is correct. Sarcasm needs a font.
yeah, you are, dude.
Instead
Oh
of
my
doing the
god,
little
that is.
slash, instead of doing the little slash s at the end of it, I mean, by that point you already lost it.
Yeah. You know what? That you know what? I might actually pay an extra $5 a month or something like that.
There you go. That's your next big
But then
idea.
again, I wouldn't have that out of I was being sarcastic. You didn't use the font. Like fuck, you're right. I did it. So, Jason, I do apologize. I definitely I try and answer things as much as possible, and sometimes it's like you just want to get the point out, or you just want to get to the question. Like you kind of want to answer it, but
Yeah.
I mean, having examples, I'm very self aware. Let's say if I saw the comment, you're like, hey, this comment, I'd be like, yeah, dude, I was an asshole on that one. Or yep.
Look at Shark Eye's comment.
Let's see here. Lawrence, have you ever called someone simple? because a well-known YouTuber referred to
Would
me
he have
as
a
that.
French in his name?
Ooh, really? Was he
Have
talking
to
from?
let me know about that, Adam, because I have a feeling it.
Was he talking from the top shelf? I only drink stuff from the top
I
shelf.
don't get it. I don't get it. I love gatekeeping. I know that was your theme for what was it this week? Was it this week or last week?
This week was gatekeeping.
Yeah. Just really, it's fucking toys. Grow the fuck up.
But
Okay. So it's probably in that group of folks. So yeah, not surprising.
well, I'm sure I'll get a message on who it is.
I know who. At that point, it's pretty much process of elimination. There's only about 4. Oh.
And, okay, so Fatrid says the thing I like most about Lawrence is you always know where you stand with him. I told Tony, listen, listen, if you are watching this, I'm going to tell you this right now. If you are watching this right now and you're going to Joe Fest, if you want to know if I like you or not, you will know if I have one word answers for you or I try not to talk to you. If I have one word answers for you and I try not to talk to you,
That's
I
gonna
do
be a
not like
long.
you. I'm just going to
That's
tell you guys right now.
that's gonna be a long panel.
It
You have
might
one
be.
word answers. It's gonna be over 15 minutes.
It might be if someone if anyone pisses me off, like you're gonna know really quick, because I said before and I told Tony this. I don't I don't hide when I don't like someone very well, and much of that is because I don't care.
Yeah.
Now that may cause me to lose subscribers or people that like the channel, but and again, yes, you know where we
You know what?
pretty
I
much
would
everyone
rather
knows
know
where I
where I
stand.
stand with someone than be left thinking that it's something that it's not, because I got
The,
better things to do with
the
my time.
worst is when there's people that don't get it. There's a guy that no longer works with us, but he's related to the owner, so he shows up at every single fucking holiday party or barbecue that we have, and I try my best to ignore him, but I swear I don't know if he's doing it on purpose because he knows I don't like him, but he'll come
Probably.
over and he'll talk to me and he'll sit next to me and he will, and I'm like, it's like it is obvious, right? Like everyone else sees it. So I'm like,
You
he
know what?
must.
Some people can't grab a clue. I'm one of those people sometimes. I mean, most of my high school was marked with not grabbing a clue that people didn't like me. So,
Again, that is me. And so going back to the whole, like, I try not to be confrontational, but I do try and be. And sometimes I read it as they're just being rude about it.
douchey.
Yes, sometimes people are just being total douches about it. Like I do a video and they go, oh, that head sculpt looks awful, awful. I'm just gonna stick with imports. All right,
Okay.
I do a video. I do a video for Arsenal Pew Pews, and someone comes in and says, Gridiron's the best. All right, well, this wasn't about Gridiron.
No.
This was about Arsenal Pew Pews.
Apples, oranges. Fix.
Go to my
I
Gridiron
just
reviews. I've reviewed them. I'm not saying one's better than the other. I am specifically talking about one.
choice.
So
It's called
yes,
choices, folks. Maybe people want something else as
and
an option.
I try not to be a total dick because I know that I've done this on videos too. I can
Yeah.
tell you as I do this more and I deal with the comments, I try not to do that anymore because I realize it's not that it's a douchebag move, it makes you a douchebag.
Yeah.
There's a huge
Well,
difference.
and the thing is that if you feed the trolls, they're just gonna come back. Sometimes, like anything else, if you don't like something, don't don't spend the amount of energy that it takes to bitch about it. Just move on. I don't understand the mentality of I've got the troll because I've got nothing else better. It's like grow up. It's fucking toys.
Again, I would be the wrong person to say that you should never do it because I have done it. All right? I can be
Yes,
the
you can.
greatest troll ever.
I guess I don't have it in me to troll. I mean, I have it in me to troll in response to someone being a troll. But
Yeah,
most of the time, I just move along.
and
I
again,
don't. I only have so many hours in a day, and if I did that, I would spend all day just
oh no,
eviscerating someone.
and
And
again,
it's
I
just,
think
by that point, it's just not worth my time.
I spend so much time behind this that I understand now how much time people put into even doing a review like I do.
Yeah.
Bobby B, right? You look at his, they're 12 minutes, right? He already has to figure out, but believe me, he's setting it all up.
Yep.
Right? He still has to put it up there and everything. Um, it takes time. And if you're going in there to have a discussion, that's one thing. But sometimes you can just tell when people are in to, and I know we're off topic now.
Yeah. Nah,
Welcome to the show.
I told you we'd go off the rails, Larry. I told you we'd go off the rails. You didn't believe me.
Okay, so everyone be quiet. Aaron, don't say anything. BMW is asking where Roman is. If you listen,
Snoring.
you can hear him snoring.
I mean, the thing was that one of the
No,
reasons I don't do reviews is because it is time
yeah.
consuming. I mean, between the editing, editing to me is you want to piss me off, sit me in front of an editor. It's a good way to make me angry. It's
And
like, I hate this.
And Jason, you are absolutely right. Not everyone who's commenting is trolls. Maybe we're just asking on it. You are absolutely correct.
Sometimes.
And
There
again,
are sometimes that you can pick it up and then you can see this person show up on a bunch of people's comment boards, and
yeah,
that's the only thing they do. It's dead
it,
giveaway.
and that's just it. You may have seen something that seemed like it's confrontational. It's just how maybe I write. I may have read what they said, or maybe what you said is confrontational. I don't mean it unless you will know when I mean it. I guess it doesn't make it any better because again, I say it all the time. All of you guys that are watching my videos, that are in here, that support the channel members, everything, like you guys, like without you, I wouldn't have a channel that's doing that's not as successful as it is right now, right? So I do apologize. I do apologize that some stuff comes off like that. I don't apologize for what I said because whatever I wrote, it's something that I truly did believe. Um, but I do apologize that sometimes sarcasm or maybe just the way I speak didn't come off right. So
The thing is that like I said, with the text and with comments, tone, intent is gone because someone's going to take it however they want to take it. Sometimes they're having a bad day and they just go off. At that point, it's just like, you're not going to stop that train. It's already gone off the rails. Yes. I don't understand that either. You got to realize that's how they make their money. What every fucking company does it. Bobby Vallow is one big fucking reuse.
but you know what? It sells, so I can't blame him, right?
But
And the figures are good
he does
figures.
is a fucking reuse and repaint.
I agree.
Girls were the last new figures he made.
Yes.
He did one hand sculpt that's new. I mean, but everybody thinks the sun shines on his ass all day.
I don't think everyone does, but again, the product.
Enough people think the sun shines on his ass every day. I mean, but let's be honest.
I'm not going to get into that one because I have certain things that I feel about, and like
I
I said,
know, but I'm just saying. I don't understand.
oh, okay.
Supporting one thing where it's all
Okay.
reused, and then getting upset.
Okay.
And getting upset when someone else uses reuse, but just because it's $1 billion company, it makes a difference. I don't think so.
Okay, Jason. Okay, now I know. All right. Now I know. Now I know the comment that you were talking about. Okay, so someone had, if you look through the comments, someone had just brought up, and I just answered them about that Stallone was supposed to be Big Bo or something. And then I answered your question about, and again, it was just like he was never supposed to be, Big Bo was he was never supposed to be Big Bo. That was his nemesis. I didn't say nemesis because I could not spell nemesis. I can tell you that much. And I just said, and I said, I don't think he looks like Stallone, and I don't. Again, we all see things differently. So
aside from the wisp curl in the hair, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and again, that truly, I was not trying to be rude at all. Yeah. And here's the other thing you have to understand. Okay. So I told you how the comments don't go away, right? So I have to comment. But if you comment after that, it doesn't show up.
Nope.
It goes over to my email, and then I have to open it up again. So sometimes I don't get back to responding to a comment that someone responded till later on. Because I know you did respond to it. It's one of those really stupid things. And I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just giving you a reason why sometimes you won't see me respond after your response. And again, I saw your response. Again, And again, if you think it looks like Stallone, that's fine because I mean,
Whatever floats your boat.
yeah, I mean, people see things differently. So I did not mean, I really did not mean that to be confrontational. Um, but again, my writing skills are not the greatest. So, and listen, I also
There's
answer.
a reason why he uses video, people.
Yeah, I also answer a lot. I feel like I'm making excuses. I'm just giving you.
You're kind of rambling some excuses there, Larry. I'm just
Um,
saying.
but I answer a lot of questions while I'm working. And then I realize, oh shit, I've been sitting in my car for 15 minutes. I need to get to my next job.
There you go.
Before my boss starts realizing, why did it take you 45 minutes to get to this place that was 10 minutes away? Um, hey, you know what? Listen, if I didn't enjoy this, Jason, I wouldn't be doing it. I enjoy talking to you guys. I enjoy meeting people. I do enjoy. Listen, not everyone will delve as far into certain toy lines as I might. So I do love answering the questions that people have. Um, there are some questions I never want to answer again. I can't even believe someone hasn't even fucking brought it up yet.
There's always somebody that's gonna, they haven't seen the first 25 comments. They're just going down to the bottom and putting their comment in. And I'm like, dude, that was answered like 30 comments ago. Go back up.
my favorite part.
You just go in and you just really want to go like, dude,
Dude,
number one comment.
my favorite part is when I know something is going to be answered because I screwed it up. So I pin the comment to the top, and yet it comes up 6 more times, and you're like, son of a bitch! You see that first fucking comment? I literally pinned it. All right, I literally went in and I commented to let everyone knows I screwed up.
It's you're gonna make errors. I mean, the thing is that one, we don't have an unlimited timetable.
There it is.
We ain't getting no hooded Cobra Commander. Make your own. Damn, it's not that hard. Get you a sculpt, get you some blue paint, get you some red paint, get you some flesh tone, maybe even get you some water slide eyeballs. You'll be good to go. Don't take that much.
And right there, and right there, Jason, that right there, what Action Figs did, Ed, one of my moderators, that is what makes this community so wonderful. Like, he knows exactly what, so he's gonna throw it up.
It's like the forbidden fruit for people. It's like, grow up. It's not that big of a deal.
No, and you know what?
There's plenty of custom shit out there that you can make your own. Yeah, it's going to cost you $40 for a fully painted head, but it's going to cost you 15 to 20 for one that's not fully painted. Or if you know somebody who has a nice resin printer, you send it to him and say, "Hey, will you print this off for me?" And you send him money, print it off for you. It's not complicated.
Ryan says, Lawrence, you're saying that people point out every mistake you make in a video.
I do. That's why I don't do short form videos. I mean, honestly, if I had, yeah, I have a little more time now that I could do reviews. But really, let's be honest, my reviews are not. I am not. I am not a wordsmith where that's concerned. It's just I look at it and go, yeah, it's a toy. Congratulations, it does this, and that's it.
So in one of Ryan's videos, he referred to, I want to say, Airborne as ripcord a couple times. Either or vice versa.
I didn't say anything. I was just like,
and when I was doing the action soldier, and I kept referring to the machine gun as rock and rolls, and I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And I knew the first person that was going to say something was Ryan. And in a chat that I'm in with him, he's like, "Did you see that Roadblock's Madus was rock and rolls a couple times?" I'm like, "Yes, I did."
It is. Aaron, I would, but honestly, when I'm doing one, I don't even think about getting my phone to do a camera for it. It's just I probably will at some point. I kind of take, like, when I do a custom, I'll take photos of it in the process, and I'll kind of do that as a reel for Instagram. Um, with the recent custom that I did for Emerald Knight Photos, that's an Emerald Knight. He's basically um,
His
his own
stuff.
figure now. But I kind
God,
of got lost in the track of remembering to take pictures because other things that were going on just kind of lost their wayside. But once I get back into doing customs again a little bit more than likely I will probably continue to do the kind of real things where I do it, and I'll release them usually as a short on YouTube.
his photography is so amazing.
So
I have him on in a couple weeks, or more than a couple weeks. All right, so back to where we were.
I
Sorry
have
that we
no
went.
idea where we were. So, but go for it.
I think we were getting to the point of
Toys,
toys. Where you're at
toys.
now. What got you back into toys? And I guess
Honestly, I know this is going to sound weird, but I had a dream, or maybe it was a memory in my sleep, of playing with my GI Joes. And I woke up the next morning and I was like, I wonder if they still make them, because I knew that they kind of had episodic things between the time I stopped collecting. They were went extreme, and then Sergeant Savage, and who knows what else.
we
GI
try
Joe.
not to. We try not to remember those.
But GI Joe is one of those brands that continues to try to reinvent itself.
Yes.
But I actually was going to go get the old 3 3/4, but then I found first classified picture, and I went and bought Scarlet like a day later. And it wasn't the movie Scarlet; it was the first version of Scarlet, and I was done at that point. Like I said, I went ape shit in about a month and a half. I ended up getting all of the figures
The
up
statue.
through up through Spirit, because he had that long delay. That was I got all of those figures really in a month and a half, and then I started going back and picking up the 25th and the 30th, the 50th, and the Pursuit of Cobra lines. I didn't get all of them. I just got the figures that I had a attachment to as a child. I made sure that I tried to get as many of those figures that I loved, and they're all on card. They're all in boxes. They're all up on the wall, where they were up on the wall. And when I walked in that room, I felt like I was a kid at Toys R Us. At least for a little while. And then from Classified, it kind of migrated to Marvel Legends, which was an interesting thing, because I went through. I originally was just going to get the X-Men and X-Men adjacent, and of course, Daredevil is one of my favorite characters. Moon Knight is one of my favorite characters, and then it spiraled for a while, but I stopped really collecting it when sometime last year. I just kind of was like, it's all endless repeat. Now, if it was on clearance for $12 or $6, or I could pick it up at Ollie's for $6.99 or $4.99, sure. At that point, the investment is minimal, but for the most part, I stopped buying X-Men toys. And that's where I tried to focus on my legends. Was that I had representatives of the Fantastic Four, or even the Galactus, but and then from there, I did started getting like the McFarlane DC universe. I wanted the old Legion of Doom and the Justice League, and of course, McFarlane has never really been good about putting out an entire team yet. Still, but so I kind of gave up on those. I bought quite a few, but most of it was on clearance. I don't think I paid full price for anything except Parallax, who is now being sold, and he will be shipping out on Monday. But yeah, I got through those, and then of course, I started meeting people in the community. I started joining shows, and then I bought my first Mythic Legion. I bought 3 of them at once, and from there it kind of snowballed into Cosmic Legions, and then AWOC came along, scratching that Thundercats itch, and kind of, gave me that science fiction-y and, somewhat weird, anthropomorphic animal fix. And then, that's kind of where I'm at with my toys. I mean, I picked up a few Street Fighter figures, and that's just because I love Street Fighter. I spent a lot of time playing that game. I suck at it, but I still play a lot of time. A lot of time playing it. Pretty much the only characters I can play really well are Ken and Ryu, or anybody that does that same skill set.
Blanca was.
Yeah, I try to find stuff that really it fills something as a void. Some of that stuff I bought just to be buying something, and that's never a good idea. So I
don't know what you mean.
Yeah, I've enabled quite a few people buying shit to buy shit, and that's where it gets bad. Now I am just back to simply classified. It's the only one that I made the dioramas for. I mean, I have wave 3 and 4 or whatever it is on Cosmic prepaid. They'll be coming in whenever. I have a couple Savage Crucible figures coming in. I have my Robo Skull and my Skeletron 6-inch figures coming in at some point. I have a lot of stuff that I've already paid for, and you can't really cancel it. So,
what Skeletron do you have?
I got the Robo Skull, and then I got the I think it's Gyrewolf.
But did you get the special edition?
I got the one with the gold, I believe.
That's a special edition. That one is probably going to be worth money, and if you really want to sell it, you probably can, because they're not doing that one again.
The thing is I don't know that I want to sell it.
I'm just saying. If you need,
if
money,
I get desperate, I promise you, there will be a moment where I get desperate, and I'll probably end up selling.
For me, I actually like the regular one better, but because I wasn't sure if I was gonna, in the end, really like it. Although everything I say, I love it. So I went with the special edition, knowing that it's not going to, they're not doing it again.
Yeah.
So,
but I just
this is Ice-T.
I thought that it was a cool looking vehicle.
So, that was what? Oh my god!
I thought it was a cool looking vehicle, and I liked the way the figures looked. I was like, "What the hell? What's the worst that can happen? If I don't like it, I can sell it, and it's a Kickstarter." So,
Do you know what sold it for me? That Destro sitting in it.
Again, it looks beautiful, right?
I was like,
"Yeah, that's it."
I mean, it's great that it can be used for 1/18 scale figures, which I have a huge room, or 6-inch figures. But I saw that Destro in it, and I went, click. Yeah. At the same time, I would not have ordered it, and I'll be completely 100% honest. I would not have ordered it had I known that we were going to get so many classified vehicles.
Yeah, and that's the thing with the 112 scale is that everybody says they want these things, but if you got a classified size flag, that would be 21 feet
at least,
and that would be 21 feet long, probably 9 feet wide. Now, I don't know about too many people that have living rooms that would sustain that. Now, you might be able to put it out in your garage, but then you're gonna have a problem. I
don't know anyone that has a relationship that can sustain that.
Yeah, I can't do it. That's me. If they did that, I would be like, nah. No way in hell.
This is my only relationship that I have, and I don't even know if we could survive it.
You'd have to like put it on the roof of your house and have it sloping down.
I have a big backyard.
Oh, there you go.
I have a big backyard.
You have to build a carport for it and give it its own she shed. No, it's. I mean, it's a space eater. I mean, that vamp alone is massive.
And what's crazy about it is if JLS, if you are still watching, I have been going down a rabbit hole of watching your Who Is videos recently because I can just put it on while I'm driving and listen to it. And I was watching the Tunnel Rat one, and they talk. He talks about where he sees a shot down Robo Skull. So then I'm like, oh, it is canon. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, it was, for lack of a better word, Action Force was GI Joe. GI Joe was Action Force.
yep. Well,
So,
so is this guy. He is, and that's why I put him in the video. Like everyone used this guy as Quick Kick, even I
Yep.
did, even though I don't like Quick Kick. Again, that's an internal battle with myself of why I would buy a figure.
Who doesn't like the? I'm just saying.
The fudgy bar is cool.
Exactly. I would buy him for the damn fudgy bar. Let's be honest. Just so I should have it between Bazooka and Alpine at some point later.
He is not the greatest figure. I'm just gonna say it, guys.
It is what it is.
But I mean, he's not the greatest.
Not always gonna be good.
But I mean, like, he doesn't want to stand very well. He's got small, tiny little feet. Where Shang-Chi just is awesome. Like,
hey Larry,
yeah.
Here's a dirty word for you.
No.
Yeah.
No. We don't use stands in this house unless they're for 4-inch figures. Or for female Marvel Legends. They can get away with it.
Don't get me started on that shit. People don't have pegs long enough, and then they got foot placement pegs that are weird. I hate it when they do. Okay, you're gonna make a high heel figure, great. You should really think about the balance of that figure when you make the fucking hole in the middle of the foot or the front of the foot. Figure's gonna do nothing but fall over.
Yep.
It makes me crazy. It's like, don't do that shit. Or you get the figures that don't have anything in their feet, and you're just like, forget it.
Yeah, no. Quick Kick is not the greatest standing figure, and he's very thin, like very thin. I know he doesn't have a plate carrier, but he's very, very thin, like almost too thin. Like you need to eat more of those frozen fudgy bars, put on a couple pounds.
Needs to put on some weight.
No one needs obliques like that. All right, but especially if you're gonna be running out in the winter without a shirt on, you better have some fat on you, dude.
But yeah, I just the whole cartoon logic is hilarious to me.
Let's see here. Fatrid asks, I have a question, toy related. As far as articulation is concerned, why don't reviewers put figures into yoga poses to see how they balance of a figure? Show the balance of the figure.
It's not a bad idea.
Well, okay, so the reason
I don't think you can really get a figure into downward dog, but whatever you got to do.
So the reason why I don't is because I'm showing you, firsthand what it's going to be like, and that you can actually just stand him. I do believe Articulated Ninja does do that type of stuff. He puts them in a lot of different poses. And again, that's the difference between like what I do and what a lot of other reviewers do.
Yeah, one of the things that's great about the Street Fighter figures is how balanced they are.
Oh yeah,
you can get them in poses you can't get any other figure in, and they stay.
Yes,
that's the other thing. They stay in that pose and they hold it well.
So I put figures on one foot and I've left them. I had a classified figure. I forget which one it was. I had it on one foot on my kitchen table for 2 weeks and it never fell over. And that table gets bumped. Everything gets dropped on it. We eat on it. Yes, my table's huge, so half the stuff. This is what happens when you're single, all right?
you get half a table of junk. Yeah, no.
Yes.
I have full feeling that my dining table will be half made of diorama shit. So
yeah, it's sad. It's sad. My son said to me the other day, he goes, our kitchen table is starting to look like Grandpa's. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm like, son of a bitch, it is. God damn it. With that said, it also has like his stuff on it from school and the second dog stuff because that's where she dropped it at. So
yeah, and Aaron's right. The Valiant Knight. So the thing with Mythic Legions is that they've always kind of got their pickiness for their articulation, but I think they've kind of started to figure it out and that what they can and cannot get away with. So you should see them be a little more articulated than they've been in the past. But the reality is that all of those pegs have to work with everything that's come before. That's what Mythic Legions is. It's all interchangeable. It's all connectable. Yeah, 1.0 bodies and 2.0 bodies sometimes don't quite work as well, but it's about what you can do with it as a creative medium. That's one of the good things about that line in particular and Cosmic Legions. It's all swappable. I would love if G.I. Joe did a completely uniform peg swapping spot. Be perfect for customizers, but nope. I got 12 different head pegs. I got 16 different waist pegs. I got, 42 different, knee joints. Elbow joints, you can forget that because you might have double jointed, you might have single jointed, you might have nothing. It just, at the end of
So
the day, uniformity is great.
So I love what our unboxing art says here. Most collectors have all their figures vanilla pose anyway, yet they are concerned with articulation. All right, so if you didn't watch Bobby B's review of Duke, I watched. I guarantee you, if he looked at his analytics, he would see the jump because I kept going back. There's a point where he's talking about it and he imitates, which is I'm like, you need to do a whole video like this. He imitates and he's like, yeah, I know people are gonna be like, oh yeah, but all the classified weapons are always bent and everything. You don't even fucking collect classified, so he goes, you don't even collect classified, so just shut the fuck up. And I'm like, he just whips it out, and I'm like, all right, back. I watched it so many times because it was so. I'm like, you need to do a whole review in that voice of someone saying, "Oh yeah, but the classified figures, they'll have bent weapons anyway."
I mean, that's one of those. That's the reality of when you have shit that isn't supported for shipping because it's put in a plastic or a wax bag. It doesn't have that support, and I'm sorry, cardboard is cardboard. It doesn't really hold the shape, and plastic, while it's still curing, needs something that's going to make it hold the shape.
The problem.
I mean, my buzzer's chainsaw. It was a fucking U when it came out of the box.
Yeah, the issue with the classified stuff, unfortunately, is it's soft. It's going to bend. What is really strange is like the weights that come with Big Boa, they are solid. Like they are not bending, right? So maybe we are going to start getting more solid weapons.
Yeah.
But when Bobby and I were talking, like one of the things he said is a lot of it makes no sense because in the wave, some of the figures have super bent, like super soft weapons.
Yeah.
And the other weapons aren't. If anyone that has the Techno Viper, his tools, they're just rubber. Like they're awful. Now, they do kind of go back to where they need to be, so that's how you're going to be doing it. But if you put something hand to hand, like the thing's going to bend. Yeah. So it's just a little disappointing. So
the unboxing artist bringing up the buzzer's glasses goggles. The way I solved that is I gave him Sarge's glasses and I glued him to the side of his head. Well, a little bit of super glue.
Yeah, and I'm with you. He needed some sort of punching bag or speed bag.
Exactly. I don't understand why we didn't get at least a speed bag. That makes I get that they were trying to emulate what was that when was that Big Boa? Was that the 30th anniversary Big Boa that had the weight set that was the exclusive collector club thing or whatever it was?
Well, quickly, Jason asked, "Lawrence, any chance of putting your future live streams forward for EU viewers?" I'm not sure what that means.
I think what he's asking is if you would do it later, so it would be later in the day for them.
Oh.
Because if he's in the EU, he could be anytime from like 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. right now.
No, I go on at 9 p.m. here, and I stay till after midnight, and I have to work in the morning. So unfortunately, no. As much this is an early one because the prima donna Payne here, prima donna Payne. Ooh, that flows off the prima donna Payne.
Ah,
That just flows. Prima donna Payne here said, "Can we go on early because I have to get my sleep?" And then you know what he says to me yesterday? Oh, I thought you were Central Time. No, I've always been in the Eastern. So we
I
still could have gone on at 9.
yeah, we probably would have been all right. But you know what? It's better
It's
because this way
hey,
I can still get my sleep, and we're good.
it hasn't
And I
stopped
was giving me that sleep.
hasn't stopped with the people that have that are chiming in. So the only thing that I can think of when it comes to the speed bag or the punching bag is that there is very little reuse that they can use it for.
Yeah,
And I know people don't want to hear that, but
I'm not sure
again,
when they're going to use the weights again.
well, they come with Sarge already. The Marauders. You can see it. You can see them in this picture.
Oh, okay. So the
Yeah.
the new one. Yeah, okay, got it.
But again, you can have a punching bag in there. So
Yeah,
I I
and
I,
you
I
can have his
I'm
say Cobra and Big Bo say Joe. I mean, whatever.
I am with you 100%. He should have had a bag. And listen, if I wasn't all in on classified, Big Bo is one of them I would have skipped. I'm going to say this right now. If you do pictures, it is one you will regret because this guy can be used in so many different lines, in
Yeah,
so many different pictures, fighting people. I mean, if you put his helmet on him, and let's say you're a Marvel Legends collector, you put his helmet on him, this guy could easily be a guy that just hates mutants, that's out to get mutants, right?
yeah.
I mean, there's so many cool things, and just the fighting that I did between the Street Fighter and Chuckles and everything, I'm like, wow, this figure really is way better for that. He's actually a really good figure, to be honest, like posing him and everything. But again, I do believe he needed a punching bag.
Yeah, and the reality is somebody out there is gonna start selling shit on Etsy for it.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I downloaded a bunch of files on Thingiverse to print one out eventually, but
yeah, I was looking for a weight bench because I want to find a weight bench so I can print that out. Uh, I found some, but they're all for 1/18 scale. So then it
yeah,
just depends when you scale them up, how do they look?
127%.
But it all depends on are they going to look right? But again, how much filament are you going to use? And it's for my backdrop. So
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
kind of
really.
like I got the water moccasin file and the devilfish file. You have to go to 107% of what the file says
Yeah,
because it's not scaled right.
and I'm fine with that. I mean, again, uh,
And that's
this
after you burn through a shitload of filament, by the way, twice.
well, that's why it's nice when someone knows that. I'm surprised that Greg hasn't already hit me up like, "Hey, I have these weight benches already printed up, dude."
There you go.
Um, but yeah, so um, wow, there's Greg right there,
See,
160.
and Greg says 160% for him.
Yeah, he's right now he's looking on different sites that he goes to, looking
Yeah.
for a weight bench and for a punching bag. I guarantee you right now that's what he's doing.
Oh, there's so many places that you can get lost in 3D printing, finding files. It's ridiculous. I I try to stick with the ones that are free for the most part because sometimes you can find like Mark II designs. He'll put
I,
his stuff up on.
I got him.
There you go. See, there you go.
He's so bad. Like I love Greg, dude. He's so bad though. He's like, I
But
think I
the
might
trick
have a
is going to be
problem.
making the heavy bag actually out of cloth, but like it should be.
Ugh.
I would.
Well,
I,
really,
I'm working on learning how to sew things so I can do
well,
like cloaks and
really, all you need to do is to 3D print it and then take some canvas and glue
yeah.
it around it.
You could.
I
You could.
mean, unless you want it to have that feel like some of the gridiron
Yeah.
sandbags and stuff but I don't know. I'm not overly concerned about that, but I do like Big Boa, and it was a figure I never had, I never wanted, but I get this figure. I'm like, it's pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty good. So, all right. So let's. I guess we kind of got into the toys. So,
Okay.
what lines do you collect right now? And
Um, I have 4 lines that I collect, but for the most part, I'm pretty much pairing it back to Joe. So, got this. I've got Cosmic Legions, AWOC, and Mythic Legions. And I'm really picky about the Mythic Legions. It has to be a certain, I dwarves, orcs, um, animal critters. Yeah, I'm not the. I don't need every vampire or every. Don't get me started on the skeletons. I can't stand that. That's just not my thing.
oh, that's right. You hate ninjas and skeletons.
Ninjas and skeletons. Well, just particular ninjas. I'm very particular. I have them. That doesn't mean that I like them. I'm a sucker, I guess.
Speaking of that ninja, hey Mezco, where is my Storm Shadow?
It's in the Ethereum.
You know where it's not? In FedEx. All right, it's not in a FedEx box. I'm on this way to my house.
Exactly, Matthew. Thank you. Ninjas aren't real. They can hurt you.
See, but okay, so Matthew tries to say ninjas were just invented; they weren't real. No, they were assassins that nobody knew about. So they were real. You just didn't know. That's how secretive they were.
Yeah, no. Americanized versions, and there were some legends, but it's not. Yeah.
Well, you know what?
And then, of course, the '80s, explosion, which is how we got Snake Eyes being a ninja. All of a sudden, he went from commando to ninja, and pretty much just trying to get the zeitgeist of the time.
Yeah, Shinobi, right here,
Yep.
Shinobi.
A frustrating game, to say the least. Ninja Gaiden was even worse.
Yes, Ninja Gaiden. That's right.
Ninja Gaiden. Oh, I can't tell you how many controllers I broke playing that game.
I still believe the hardest Nintendo game was ever Ghosts and Goblins. It was unbeatable.
There was a few games.
That Solomon's Quest. I don't believe anyone could beat it. I don't believe it.
There's
rumors people have beat it, but I don't believe it.
And the thing is that we didn't realize it at the time, but it really wasn't us. It was the lag in the controllers because of the way that they, what they did with the wiring in the wired part of the controllers that just wasn't very good.
It's the 80s Toy Boy. They're real to me, damn it.
Okay. Whatever works, whatever makes you happy. If it makes you happy and you're not hurting anybody, go for it.
All right, so Caleb Brown says Hasbro tends to keep their figures pure. They don't fully embrace customizing their products. That's why there is no uniformity. Customizing their figs is usually the result of a happy accident.
I would say it's the result of hard freaking work. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm not so sure I agree with that. But maybe in another post you could expound on that a little bit more. Yeah, you know how that shit goes.
How everything goes.
Black Genghis says he only believes in surf ninjas.
Didn't surf ninjas must die? I'm just saying.
I honestly don't remember.
As I recall the title of that movie, KJ. I could be wrong. It's been a long time. Now I do, one of the good things about my brain is I have random shitty trivia. Don't play me in Trivial Pursuit. Just saying.
I'm sorry. How do we get on surf ninjas? All right. So that's how bad this show is.
You know what? It's not bad. It's just we never again. Train track off. That's what we do.
Completely different.
That's how it rolls. It is what it is.
So you started a show.
Yep.
that was doing very well for quite some time. You got a lot of interesting guests. Myself, probably the best one you could have done. Um, because I don't see myself enough on YouTube. That I need to see myself on other people's channels too.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll stroke your ego for a while. That's fine. It's all right. Well, when I started the show, someone had said something. I was in Geek Dad Life's Patreon, and someone had mentioned something about, what would make a show stand out, and I, started thinking about my journey with toys, and you know, slowly having conversations. It made sense to talk about, why we're grown ass people playing with children's toys. There's some interesting dynamics. There's a lot more trauma than I was expecting. There was a lot more inner child needed love kind of moments. There's a lot more revealed about people and how they do things and what they choose. There's a lot of people that just love the way they look. They love the way they feel. Tony's right, because I'm a Toys R Us kid. You remember going into those aisles and how that made you feel wonder and the limitless possibilities up to your parents' checkbook were there, right? I mean, toys have always represented our imagination. They're our ability to create a world, create a story. Even if we're following someone else's story, we're still creating that dynamic in our head, and it's a safe place. It's a place where people jump out of every plane that explodes and have a parachute.
Or helicopter.
Or a helicopter. I'm waiting for the moment when people jump off the back of a Jeep and they have a parachute. That's coming. But I mean, it's that point where we get to go back and talk to our inner child for a little bit. We get to play as adults, and honestly, as adults, we forget the importance of that. We forget that our brain, regardless of what we think, needs play. Play is always a place of joy. It's a place of allowing yourself to go somewhere else, even if it's for 5 minutes. It's a way for your brain to shut off worrying about paying bills or whether your kids are, taken care of well enough, whether or not you're a good parent, whether or not you're, successful with what you've been doing for work, whether or not you have a deadline, whether or not you have all of these things that, even if for just a few minutes, they go away. Just a few minutes. And all of us that collect toys, when we're organizing them or putting them on the shelves, we're playing. Whatever it is we're doing, we're playing. And it's essential for long life. It's essential for brain health. There's so many things that we didn't know as kids when we were playing and what that does as a child when you play. How many ways that you learn, social interaction, how you play with your toys, how you play with others, fairness, justice, those kind of themes are a lot of what happens. And, play is essential for everyone. I don't care if you're 4 or 100. If you don't have some type of play, your brain is just, all you're going to be is stressed out all the time. Have something. I don't care what it is. Toys, collecting rocks, buying stamps, collecting stamps, going out getting your coin. I don't care. Everybody should be playing something every day in some way. If you want your brain to last, you want it to be moderately happy, take time, even a little bit of time for yourself. Whatever it is you want to do. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, go for it.
No, and that's
That's
why
kind
when
of the theme of my show. It's it's okay that we do this. It's necessary in every shape and form.
when I was on your show and you asked about, what was the last time you played, and I was like, well, would you consider riding my skateboard playing? Because a buddy of mine, he'd always be like, hey, you playing skateboards today? Like, that's what he would like text me. Hey, you
Yeah.
playing skateboards today? Who's playing skateboards? It sounds stupid, but it's like I look at it. It's a useless wooden toy.
Yeah.
Now
But
it's
what
not
you do with that useless wooden toy is what matters.
exactly. And you were like, no, actually, because I don't think anyone else had ever asked anything that wasn't a piece of plastic. You know, but to me, like I've never not looked at that.
Yeah.
That skateboard is not a toy. Like that is, again, other than my kids, the
Depends on a
skateboard.
perspective. It's always something is always a toy.
Yeah,
Something is always something that we're doing something with, and it's providing enjoyment and happiness. So, it's not a bad thing to play. I mean, I think we get that in our heads as adults. We have to be adults. We have to do this. We have to do that. And at some point, it's just not an attainable situation. Not for long, and not for, you know, ultimate joy and happiness. I mean, I'm not saying everybody has to be sunshine and fucking rainbows all the time. That's not realistic.
I am. And
Yeah, right. I don't know what
yeah,
sunshine you think you are, but go for it. But I'm just,
I'm
I'm
like a solar fucking eclipse is what I am. All right.
you
You're
know
not
what?
supposed to look at it, but you can't look away from it.
My best friend's nickname for me was Cloudy. So obviously, I'm the person that rains on everybody's parade. But it's one of those things that it's not whatever it is. It's not the toy. It's not the stamp. It's the moments that you get and the things that you get out of it. And I think a lot of people who may look down on what we do miss that point. I would rather be playing with toys than dealing with some asshat up at a corporate office who's being a fuckhead and pissing me off. Give me a toy. I'll be fine.
I'm with you.
I would rather have this community. Good, bad, and indifferent. There's a lot of people that I don't get along with and I don't agree with. I don't watch their stuff, but
Every
everybody should
community
have
is
a voice.
every
Everybody
community,
should have a voice. You don't always have a good opinion,
but
but
every
everybody should have
community
a
is like
voice
that.
there.
I go into skateboarding and I'm lumped in with the modern skate guys because that's where I was always skating at. So those are all my buddies. But there are other skate crews. And even when we were younger, there was the same thing. So you get lumped in, and it doesn't mean that like this other crew and these other guys, it doesn't make them bad guys. These are just the ones you're hanging out with. These are the ones you're going to go skate with.
Yeah.
You know, and
There's people in this community that I'd go to war with. Wouldn't have a problem.
and there's a lot of good
For
guys. There's a lot of good people doing content that I just don't like their content, so I don't watch it.
And
Doesn't mean I don't like them.
Yeah, if I don't like what you're doing, sometimes I'll tune in and then I'll tune out, and I move along with my day. I have there's plenty of other options. That's the thing, is there's so many options. I mean, you could literally find anything now. We are at a time in humanity when any amount of information is available in our hands. Now, unfortunately, the converse of that is most fucking people don't use it. So you have that dichotomy. More information than any other time in humanity's history, and you still got dumbasses who don't want to use that. Whatever floats your boat. At some point, It catches up. I will gravitate toward the people who I want in my circle. I keep my circle fairly tight, but I would do anything for those people that I could. You're in that group, most of the people in the group that's with us. There's something about people in this community that makes you want to lift everybody up. And that's an amazing, amazing thing.
And I think when you're in a community where it's not so much like this now, and I'll be 100% honest, just like skateboarding, and I equate a lot of this to skateboarding, obviously. But back in our day, when I was skateboarding, I was the only skateboarder in my high school out of 2,700 kids. It was during that time that it died. And if you don't give a fuck at that point, because you're doing something you love, but we were looked down upon. So when you see someone else that's doing it, you have a camaraderie with them. Same with toys. Now, today, actors and athletes, they collect toys. So I don't think a senior in high school that they find out, oh, you collect toys? Yeah, dude, it's actually pretty fucking cool. No one really, no one's really, I mean, there will people that will look down, but the majority of the people won't look down at you. People ride a skateboard. Oh, hey, Jock's riding a skateboard. You don't even think twice about it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So I think we have a tendency, especially at our age, to feel we need that camaraderie. If that person's collecting, and I've said this before, it's what's funny about having this community when you have people that you don't get along with and people don't like you because you collect G.I. Joe or because you collect Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah. Displaying model behavior said it best. I was happy watching him and Dan Who, and he said, it makes no sense to me because if you were in your office building and you just started and you walked by a guy and he had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and you don't collect them, you would find a way to walk back to that person and be like, you collect toys? And next thing you know, you're talking. But when you're on the internet, you're like, fuck you, you collect turtles. I don't collect that shit. It's stupid. It's for kids.
Whatever
but
makes
you sell them, you act different.
Yeah. I think for a lot of people, I don't really collect the toys to collect the toys. I'm here to collect friends. Well, that's how I've kind of approached it. The toys were a vicarious byproduct of my desire to connect with my, 4-year-old self.
See, this guy here. What the hell is going on here? Larry is lame because he collects G.I. Joe Beanie Babies all the way. This guy right here, he doesn't collect anything. He does dioramas for toys he doesn't collect, yet he has somehow made friends. He made an enemy with me because he's always mean to me. But that is why we call him random diarrhea.
Did the Lord's feelings get hurt? Oh, no. Look, Ma, the mean man made me cry.
I think it's more than that to make me cry. I'll tell you that much. So, I think we're at almost 3 hours. Yeah. Everyone wants to know, when is your show coming back?
I'm hoping April. It will not be on Fridays because there's no practical way to do that anymore. More than likely, it looks like it's going to be probably 7 p.m. Central on Wednesdays.
Okay.
So.
Well, there's nothing on Wednesday, so you need to really worry about it.
Well, Chad has a show, so we'll see on that one. But, maybe it'll give somebody something else to watch. There's, Baskin Robbins had 31 flavors for a reason. Man. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't understand that. Just watch it for what it is. It's not going to be. It is what it is. Watch it, enjoy it, move on. I don't get wrapped up. I watch the movie. I enjoy the movie. If I don't like the movie, I don't watch it again. I move on.
Yep.
I don't need to point out the 12 million, continuity errors and 65 different references and Easter eggs every time I watch a movie. No.
No, that's why I can watch Screen Crush, because they do it for me.
Yeah, there you go.
And I have a good time doing it.
Who's Chad? Yeah. Okay.
It's Chad.
It's Chad. Exactly. It's Chad. Look him up. Now that he's retired, he'll have probably plenty more time to do shows.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm just, I miss it. So, yeah, I know that I want to keep doing it, but I'm thinking probably, mid to late April is probably when I'll start doing the show again. I don't know if I'll do, the interviews starting off. I think I might just do customs or diorama stuff, just to start off, at least initially. But I might. I mean, I don't know. I'll have to reach out to people when I'm a little more centered on what time and place.
Yeah.
Start.
We know mid-April is coming pretty quickly, right?
Yeah, no, it's Monday. I still have time. I procrastinate. What can I say? If it wasn't for procrastination, I probably wouldn't have much to do.
You can always find someone.
Oh yeah, I know.
I will say this though: if you are going to start with someone and you don't want it to be stressful, do not ask Mark from Gridiron, because you will stress up to the fucking minute before the show goes on that he's going to show up.
It would be
mild. I love you, Mark, but
it would be mildly.
You're gonna ask Tony. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna have you drive over there.
I literally have only bought one gun from them, so I don't know that would be a.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. But there's plenty of people out there that I still haven't talked to.
Oh yeah.
And that's the best part about that show is I get to know them a little more intimately than some other shows out there. It's not just about the toys. It's more about their connections.
Yeah. And that, again, that was why. And I think I told people, because I had thought about this show for quite some time. And you were like, oh, well, it's pretty much the same show as I've been. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not. I didn't really want to get into toys, like, other than like, what were you doing? I want to get to know the person.
Yeah.
I think yours is completely different in the way you're actually breaking down what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Which is very neat, because I know, like, if you asked me what about skateboarding do I love, I cannot tell you.
Sometimes we can't articulate the words sometimes about why we love something, and that's okay.
But I think the way you have a format, you're able to get answers out of people that they were never looking at, and you go, I never really thought of it like that. And it makes people think and kind of break down and realize, oh, I knew I love this. I know I like this, but now I actually see why I like it.
Yeah. And then that's kind of the discovery process in and of itself of, it's a microcosm of therapy in and of itself, in a way. And it may be silly, and even doing the customs, when you see how someone works on their customs, you do gain some insight into that individual. Yes, Graf, it is mind control, mildly. Well, that will be a full show for about a decade.
Hey, you know what? Listen, I'm sure that I could get a.
Yeah, I know.
I could get.
You don't have to go there.
I could get probably a good half year easily, if people that don't like me were willing to come on.
Just gotta stroke their ego; they'll be fine.
I actually like that. Random. I like that. That would be awesome. I don't want that though. I don't want the cheap part.
That would be stressful and kind of annoying.
Well, I don't know because you've seen me, and
Oh,
I'm
I know. You get riled up, but they'd get riled up, and then it'd just be a bitching contest for 2 hours, and nobody would enjoy that more than a couple weeks. And
yeah,
then
but I'd have the mute button, so I could just mute people and yell at them.
I'm sorry, what did you say? I didn't hear that. We didn't catch that. It's fine. No, it's fine.
What? You agree you're a fucking asshole? Oh, that is awesome. I agree with this. So does the whole chat. It's amazing.
Ed is volunteering for that first Friday.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, that's what he said. Ed and I are way more alike than I think
Yeah. Well,
people realize. All right.
trust the old crow is right.
Friday with an enemy.
You just call it Frenemies Friday.
Ooh, I like that too. I might just start with random. Random is my first one. I could have Fatrid on here for the mean things he says to me. There's a whole host of people that say mean things to me.
You could say
But-
Graph because he kind of has some
Yeah.
thought-provoking questions for
Yeah,
you.
he does it. Bud is on here for sure.
Oh yeah.
Terrence. Terrence is like one of the first people.
See, you're full now. You're good.
already got the first month filled up, right?
Plenty of options.
All right. So now I have a full month of a show that I didn't even plan on having before we started.
You have the time for that, right?
Viper Scout says Bobby B should be the first arch enemy and all. Yeah, that I still love that story. My son was just like, he's your nemesis. I'm like, what? I was trying to figure out what keywords is he putting in? No, he's your nemesis, Dad. Like,
just he's putting in punk as a tool. I don't know.
it might be. Hey, if that works, I'll do it. I mean, anything for views. All right.
Exactly.
I'm a show. I will fully admit it. I am a show when it comes to getting
Yourself.
the views. So is there anything that you have going on?
Toy-wise, no. Not really. I'm still trying to organize a bunch of stuff in boxes. That's a lot of fun. That's like pulling teeth.
Patrick asks, Larry, did you ever get your crap fixed on YouTube Monday night? What crap? What wasn't fixed?
I'm sure it's probably about the 18 plus.
The what?
The 18 plus slap thing that they put on.
That. No, they pretty much said, yeah, we reviewed it. No, you didn't, because it was a 3.5 hour show.
Yeah.
You just took 15 minutes to review it. You did not review shit.
Exactly.
Yep. I don't know. Basically, they're saying there was strong language.
Yeah, we'll get that for this one too, because I've dropped quite a few F-bombs.
Well, I mean, this is no different than normal, but they also said due to also sexual content. I'm like, PO, pre-order. I didn't know what it meant. Okay, but I don't know what else PO could mean. I should probably stop saying it.
Golden showers, Larry. Golden showers.
Okay, well now I'm fucked. Yeah, and 3 stars draw. We didn't even discuss Wood Buddy.
What the fuck is Wood Buddy?
KJ says those fudgies are MC-17.
There you go.
Post office. I don't know. I don't know.
They're special. It is what it is.
Well, you did give me 3 hours of your time, which I definitely do appreciate. Is there anything else that you want to discuss before we wrap it up for everyone? No. I mean, I can go on and on, but I know you need.
Yeah, I got to get ready for bed. 5 a.m. comes early.
Allison, I'm going to ask politely. It is Would, Buni. Matthew, please. Also, you need to learn how to spell bunny also. I do not appreciate you spelling her name wrong. And I will probably be looking at her later on because on Instagram, she just instantly pops up on one of my 3 accounts that I follow on all of them just because I don't want to miss it. And she can build a hell of a shelf and a room and all kinds of stuff. I mean, you really can learn something from her. I ain't gonna lie, but I'm not looking at that either. So,
Oh no, but it's fun. It's been fun. I'm good. I've said what I said. I live by it. I'll die by it.
and thank you to Legend Series becoming a YouTube member. Thank you very much. I haven't seen you unless you changed your name. I don't believe I've ever seen your name until earlier today. So, thank you for joining. I absolutely love when we get new people in the community because not everyone gets the show and not everyone wants to chat, right? Because sometimes
There's
we
a lot
are,
of people that that are watching that aren't chatting. So
yeah, and that's great too. You know what? As long as you are
there's
sitting
not a whole
there,
lot of comfort, and that's okay.
yeah, if you're
We just
sitting there,
appreciate you coming in, checking it out,
yeah,
thinking whatever negative thoughts you have about it's just fine. We're good.
oh yeah, just hit the like button. You know what? Or be one of the 3 people that always hits the dislike button, which is funny. There's always like
Is it specifically 3 people each time? Because I have a theory.
um, many times it is exactly 3. There will be at least 3 dislikes on every classified video. Which is
What is that? Ed is now a member. Okay, Ed.
Ed became
He just wanted his name in green. That's all it is. Because he's
well
outdoorsman.
he was gifted a membership, so I'm wondering if it ended. So he he
What is
joined
Matthew talking about? I don't know what Matthew's talking about.
because Ed wasn't a
He's
member.
not. Yeah, I know. I'm giving him a hard time.
But he was a member for a month because someone gifted him a membership. I've
Yeah.
always wondered how the gifted memberships work. Like when it ends, do they notify you, like saying like,
Yeah,
"Hey,
they do. They send you an email. Yeah.
oh, okay." I was wondering because it's like
Somehow in the last month I've been gifted like 2 memberships, 3 memberships, can't remember how many, but it's like, okay, great. And then you get an email about a week out. Your gifted membership is about to expire.
oh, okay.
Yeah. You get an email.
I was just kind of hope that like this automatically started charging you and you didn't realize.
No, they don't do that. They
That makes me think I got to contact my cable company and get my discount rate. They sent me an email saying your discount's about to end, but you feel free to call us and arrange something.
sign up a contract again. Yeah.
Yeah, another 2 years, but it's not like my internet's going anywhere, right?
Well, I can't imagine you'd be able to do much without it.
Oh, look at this. Ed says, I didn't get any notice, just saw I wasn't any longer tonight. Well, thank you, Ed. You are doing a wonderful job of being a moderator by setting good examples. Although you'll probably say something mean in the next comment to me.
No. See, because he can't say it because we'll be getting ready to leave. Because I'm going to bed.
Well, I already have his money for the next month, so.
Yeah, you got his 99 cents.
There's nothing like criticizing your moderator that you don't pay any money to. Where the hell were you?
Or 60 cents after, YouTube takes their cut.
I think it's 70. But then I got to worry about taxes from all the states and everything. It's what. Oh, look at this.
There you go.
Like that makes me feel warm. Now he's gonna send me some awful reel that's gonna send us both to hell.
Yeah, it's coming. As soon as you get off.
So if anyone else has anything to ask Aaron, this is the time because we're gonna let him go. And remember, the more super chats you send, the longer I have to stay. Well, I don't think you were on that night.
The longer he has to stay.
Yeah,
I'm going.
It was a few weeks ago that it was late and I just wanted to get off and everyone started sending like little super chats, and they're like, as long as we keep sending them, you can't leave. I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, not that I'm gonna complain.
Yeah.
I appreciate it tremendously, but I was like, I'm like, I just want to go to fucking sleep. I just want to go to sleep. um, he says memberships are different. Mods is like slave labor. Mods are like being the idiot who pays to go to work. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's why, like, when I'll ask someone, I'm like, why do you have so many moderators? Like, your channels, like, you don't have a lot of people, but like, why do you have like 10 moderators? And um, Ken had explained it best. He was like, well, he goes, I don't go on at a specific time, like you do. So your mods like know exactly when. I might go live whenever. That actually kind of makes sense. But when I'll ask someone, the first thing I say after I ask, like, how come you have 12 people watching, you have 9 mods? And the first thing that I'll ask is be like, but I don't want to be a moderator. Like, I've moderated too many like message boards in the past. I don't make me a moderator because I don't want to do that. I deal with enough YouTube shit. But for the most part, man, we have such a good community. So
We do. Well, with that, I guess we can say goodbye to this community for the night. And I appreciate you all of you who have sent me messages privately, um, good wishes and whatever. I genuinely appreciate it. It's been hard, but I do appreciate people taking the time out of their day, thinking about me and sending me a message. It means a lot.
And I want to say thank you for coming on here. I know when everything happened, you were already supposed to come on, and I was like, I'm not. He has other things going on, and I was just gonna have someone on standby in case you were like, because you messaged me and said I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I was just gonna have someone on standby, like, hey, listen, if he can't do it, are you cool with this? And then when you messaged and said, hey, I want to go on, I can't sit here and just sit and be a hermit the rest of my
life.
Yes. So I definitely appreciate it, and you coming out here and talking, and here's where
Aha, Graf, you started it.
So, wait, there's something I was going to ask.
Sure.
See, you guys are total enablers. I absolutely love it. I do want to say thank you to all of you because this has been my best month on YouTube by far. All right. And the month's not even over. So thank you to all of you for everything that you've done. But honestly, Payne, thank you very much. We are going to go.
Glad to be here. It felt good to be back.
Why are you talking like a robot? It felt good.
Honestly, I was thinking of what I wanted to say, and I wanted to be intentional with it. So sometimes that happens. We get to a certain hour, and my brain goes, hello, were you trying to speak now? No, sir. I was not.
Oh, that's what makes this community so awesome. Yeah, I do truly mean that. So anyway, all your information that is on your Instagram and your YouTube channel should be in the description. Pretty sure I put it in there.
If not, I'm easy to find.
Yeah,
Payne's toy samples. I guarantee you'll find me.
There's not too many of you.
Nope.
But yeah, so everything is down there. Aaron, thank you very much. It was a wonderful talk. Are you going to be on?
I will be on probably for a little bit on Saturday, but
okay.
I don't know how long. Just depends.
We don't know whose channel it's going to be on.
No, we don't know. It could be on anybody's, except mine.
It can be on yours. Why not? Oh, that's right. Because you go to bed at 11.
Yeah. Because, I'm old.
because you need your beauty sleep.
I need my beauty sleep.
And I guess that's Roman saying goodbye as he snores. He's just, you can hear that, right?
Mhm. You can hear it lightly. I don't think if your mic was closer, or you're
Oh,
giving
yeah.
it the other way.
Oh,
you'd
it's
probably get
it's like I'm hearing it the whole time. Like, I haven't heard no trains though, so you guys missed the train today. So, all right, you guys have a wonderful night. Again, thank you very much.
Thanks for coming by, folks. I appreciate you all coming, just to, even if it's just to see Larry, but you came for me too. So hopefully everybody got something out of this.
Nobody came for me; they all came for you.
Yeah.
And that is one of the sickest, disgusting statements I've ever said. If you really break it down. So, have a wonderful night. We will see you guys all either on Saturday or especially Monday, which I already have a topic. You guys are gonna love it, or not, but you'll be there. Take care.